and welcome. This is Friday Lambda Lab number 5, and it's going to be an interesting one. I'll be curious to see who, if anybody, turns up to watch this, considering how I advertised it as, the one where I'm going to go crazy for hours. um, but I suspect it will be an even nicher crowd than usual, but a hardcore one. So whoever's out there, welcome. All right, so I don't know how much I will get done today, but let me try to lay out the game plan for where we're going. So let me just import my lambdas. So last week, it's taking a second. Last week, let's just do sequence. I don't know, sequence 10.3. I had this scan by call thing that I was working on. So whatever, let's say we start from 0, go through this array, and then this didn't work the last time I tried it, but yeah, there we go. Then I would generate a function, and I'd say something like a plus f of 1 minus f of 2 times f of 3, and then close brackets a bajillion times. Well, that's getting a little negative, but you get the idea. So the idea is that I could quickly write a function that would refer to, we're running through one row of this at a time, and in each row I can say, do something with what we've accumulated so far, with the first value from here, with the second value from here, and with the third value from here, in a way that was quick to write. So now I want to build on that in a few different ways. So the sort of vision for today is 3 different functions. One is the picker, one is the extended scan by. I have a slightly different name in mind for this if I can get through all the things that I want, but it's not worthy of that name yet, so I'm not going to use it yet. And the other is the function maker, provisionally titled reducto. This is the sort of friend of lambdify. So I guess let me explain a little bit of the journey to here first, which is, so I shared this kind of scan by last week, kind of building on some things that Bo had done on his channel, and then he and I exchanged a bunch of messages about it, and he's been kind of building on it in more ways since. The thing that the original problem that we were both trying to think through was that you want to be able to write something like this, but you don't want to have to do all of this stuff, all of this kind of plumbing to get to it. You'd really rather be able to just say, lambda av a plus f of 1 minus f of 2, blah, 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 blah. And the realization that that I think we both separately came to, although Bo has already implemented it, I have not, since last week, was that there's no reason that these two things, this a and v that are the arguments to this lambda, have to be arrays or have to be ranges or anything like that. They can also be functions. So it is possible to basically do this stuff within the workings of the function. So the idea would be that you would say, I have a function. Basically, I have a function that takes one value, which is what you've accumulated so far, or potentially that becomes an array later, or potentially it becomes a function to pick from an array later, and one function which picks from an array, which would be something like this, although it's going to get considerably more complicated than that, but this is the sort of starting point. And so, yeah, basically the idea would be that you would say, instead of saying lambda AV, you'd say whatever, lambda AF, and then you'd cut out all of this and be able to write this directly, which would make it much, much easier to use. So that's the hope for that, and that's going to rely on using this picker internally, because this picker is going to be a kind of much more general version of this thing. So this right here says, given a number, this is a function which, given a number, picks that number out of a one-dimensional array, but we're going to generalize that picker quite a bit. Again, Bo has already done quite a lot of work on this. I have some other ideas for different directions to take it in as well. So yeah, that's that. And then the additional idea is that if you didn't do some crazy scan by nonsense, and you just said, okay, whatever, this is 0. Oops, sorry. This is, where is, this is, okay, seriously, my up key is not working? Okay, there we go. It's just a little stiff. So if I just said this, plus this, minus this, times this, and copy down, seriously, my up key is very stiff now. This is not good. Then what the idea for this function maker is that, sort of like what I do with lambdafy, I would be able to point it at this, at these, and at this, and have it write that function in the way that I had it a minute ago, as the sort of, a plus f of 1. Obviously, this is a simple example, but you can think about this. I'll do some examples later if I have time. But like, you think about something like World of Warcraft, or you think about something like Farming in the Land of Vines, where you're tracking various different things over, generations or over iterations or whatever. Then where are my words? Yeah, basically these functions could get a lot more complex. And in particular, I've set scan by call up so that, for example, it can do, start from 0 and 1, and it'll kind of follow each one of those along. So this, this could be, instead of just a single value being tracked, this could be something like World of Warcraft, where you're saying, I have a vector that is my XP, my gold, my main stat, my, I don't know, my amount of copper to sell, my amount of iron or whatever the other minerals were. And then, depending on all of these, well, you might calculate, okay, your level as a function of your XP, and then your level might tell you what, what next mission you can get. My up key is really stiff today. This is very annoying. What mission you could go on, and that might inform your gold and XP for the next level, and so on. And so, like, there could be all kinds of different dependencies among these things. And then you could be ending up outputting something like, all three of these at the end. So I think the ability to kind of just build one row of that as a normal model and then convert that into something that you can scan by would be pretty powerful if I can get it to work. But these two are going to be, there's a lot to do on just these two, so we'll see what I get to. Thomas says, I have a lambda I named 4 based on reduce that gives you access to the current value and the index of the iteration. Okay, so kind of like enumerate, I guess, but also provides a lambda to get the nth previous value. Leverages the same idea. Fibonacci for sequence 5. Let me just copy this out of the comments and I can actually show you. So the idea is you can write something like for sequence 5 lambda value I prev 1 1 plus prev 2 0. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. So that's very cool. I was debating whether I want to be able to look back either farther in general or arbitrarily, as kind of two separate questions, like, up to a fixed number of steps, like 2 or 3 or 4 steps back as opposed to 1 step back, or any distance back. The challenge with it, I'd be curious to hear what you did with this, Thomas. The challenge with it, in my mind, is that there's a real performance hit. So in other words, if you can kind of scan, like with the native scan, if you can scan through this and make each one of these a thunk, and then just do one pass to unthunk it, it's much faster compared to if you need to stack as you go to keep building this. But the speed only becomes an issue if you're getting into fairly big data. So yes, this is definitely a thing worth thinking about. Should there be an option to look further back? I like the idea. I should mention, by the way, that the thing that got me, excited enough about this idea that I said, screw it, I'm going to block like hours on Friday and really, whack away at this for a while, is the messages that I exchanged with Bo and also with Thomas after last week's session. Do I have Any idea to build custom Lambda function that integrates Monte Carlo simulation instead of data table? You could use a Lambda function that iterates simulation. Um, I mean, for my immediate purposes, no, because the I'm kind of right now I'm focused on building lambdas for the Excel World Championships, and the answers there are always deterministic. But in principle, a lot of this stuff, anything that allows you to iterate, if one of the inputs is randomized, then if you iterate 1,000 times, then you can do that. So like if you can with something like this function maker, if you or with Lambdafy or with OA Robot or whatever, if you can kind of squeeze the model that you need to work with down into a function, then it's easy to say, whatever, map a sequence of 1,000 random values as your random seeds and put those into that and aggregate in some way the outputs from that. But it's not something that I have really given much thought to. Anyway, yeah, I was just saying that the conversations I had with Thomas about his sort of equivalent of picker when he was looking at the way I was experimenting with dunks. Um, he was the one who actually gave me the inspiration. So based on the scan by and based on the idea that, well, we just want to be able to get straight to this, and so rather than this v being an array that you then generate a lambda to look in, this v could just be that function f. That in turn led to the idea of, well, it would be good to have a picker that is, a sort of generalization of this. So like this is saying a function of a number that picks from an array that number. So the natural kind of generalization of that is to make that lambda of an array, so that you do something with the array. And so then this function, you feed it an array and it returns a function that picks from that array. And that's the sort of core idea of this picker. But so we were talking about, initially it was just whatever. If you've got, I don't know, let's just say sequence 10 squared. Sorry, squared on the outside. So yeah, initially we were just thinking of it as whatever, lambda array, lambda num. I'll just keep it simple for now. So index array num. So that's your picker function. You give it this array, and then you give it whatever 3, and it gives you the third value from there. And so then somewhere internally in your scan by call workings, you can call this function on the array that is the next slice of the next row you're scanning through or the next column you're scanning through, and then just that function goes into the lambda that you build in the outer scan by call. But then we started thinking about other options, like if you wanted to get the first 3 values, or if you wanted to get values between 4 and 7, or if you wanted to get the last few values. And so I played around and sent Bo my initial thought on this, which was something that would basically take, so it would write a function that would either take a number, like 3, or it would take an array of numbers, like 3, 5, or it would take various text strings, such as, so I think that the 4 that I had were basically -3, +3, 3 plus, and 3 minus. Oops. 3 minus, with the idea being that this would drop the first, like if the addend was on the left, it would act from the left, and if it was on the right, it would act from the right. So the idea with this was this would drop the first 3 columns, this would take the first 3 columns, this would take the last 3 columns, this would drop the last 3 columns, and then I also had a syntax that was something like 4 to 7. Oops, sorry, 4 to 7. That would let you take, from entry 4 to entry 7. And so I wrote a version of Picker that would do this, and that was pretty cool. But then actually, Thomas's version inspired me to, instead of this, because this thing is kind of cool, but it can't handle negative indices. So if you want to be able to say, give me the the column or entry -1, meaning the last one, or entry -3, meaning the third last one, this is not set up to handle that. And therefore, this syntax that relies on -3 to mean drop 3 from here isn't really compatible with that. And so what Thomas had done in his version was similar to Python style. So in Python, if you have a list, you can slice the list with something like this. So you say, start at A, stop at B, and go in steps of C. So that might mean, in this case, give me whatever entries 2, 4, 6, and 8. Or it might mean give me 1, 4, and 7. Or it might mean in reverse, give me entries 10 and 8 and 6, that kind of thing. Now, Python is a little unlike Excel in that it is zero-based. So Bo already talked about this in his video because he has, again, Bo is much faster than me at actually getting these things implemented. I sit and think about these things for ages, but but yeah. So two things in Python that are not super intuitive to Excel users. One is the zero-based. So in Python, this is entry 0, this is 1, this is 2, and so on. I find it much more natural to be one-based, so my picker is going to be one-based. And then in addition to that, if I think in Python, if you say I want, like let's say it's one-based, if you say I want from 1 to 3, it interprets that to mean I want to start at 1 and stop before 3. So 1 to 3 or like 0 to 2 in Python, I believe would actually just give you the first 2 elements and not the first 3 elements. The other thing that's cool in Python is if you say I want colon 3, then it interprets this as from the start to 3. Or equally, if you say I want colon -4, it'll say I want from the start to the -4th, like the fourth from last. Again, adjusting for the different indexing and so on. And equally, if you say I want 4 colon, it means from 4 to the end. So this can quite easily replicate all of this stuff and more with the step option. Yeah, okay, enough yak. So something that I don't usually do, because honestly I usually I've often built functions that are somewhat complex to implement, but I don't think I've really built anything on the Lambda lab so far that is all that conceptually complicated. This is getting more conceptually complicated because I wanted to do a lot of different things. So I wanted to be able to handle a number or an array of numbers, or any slicer of this form. I'm not going to put the square brackets around it. I also wanted to have an optional header argument so that it could take something like call A, or again an array of call A, call B, or that it could put the headers in here so that it could do something like from call C to call K, which would make it more robust if you need to insert columns at any point that the column number within the table could change. And then I wanted to be able to work in a few different ways as well. So I want, for the inner workings of scan by call, I wanted to be able to return either, so I want a sort of curried option, meaning that you give it something like pick, sorry, let's keep this text, you give it something like pick of array, and it returns a function. So whatever, input, return, and this would return function to pick from array. But I also want the option to say something like pick array, whatever, no pick, and that will just return the array. Um, all right, I'm not 100% sure I need that one, but I might need that one. And then I want it also to be able to just work directly uncurried, so something like pick array slice one. Um, oops, sorry, still meant to be keeping this text. And then I want it to be able to do pick array slice one, whoops, slice one, slice two. And like with index, if I give it slice one and it's a windy array, I want that slice to apply to whatever dimension there is. So I want to be able to apply it to a row or a column. So in other words, if I have sequence 5 and I say index this 3, oops, not hashtag, index that 3, it gives me 3, but if I make this a row vector instead, I don't have to change where I put the argument here. This is just how index works with one-dimensional arrays, and I want to preserve that. But then if it becomes a two-dimensional array, then I want to be able to give it slicers for both directions. So I could say whatever I want, columns 1 and 3 here, and I want rows 1, 3, and 5, and it would return, whoops, not that, but this. Okay, so that's a lot of yak. Let's get to it. So in my mind, the core workings here is going to be pick with the slices is ultimately going to return index of the array by certain sequences, sequence 1 and possibly sequence 2. So my first job then is to basically come up with a function that will convert slices that can be any of these things into the appropriate sequences. Okay, so I think you could tie yourself in knots potentially here of like, what if I want to handle, a column header that is a number, or if I want to handle a column header that is a colon b, or column headers that are contained in each other or whatever. I'm going to just make a rule for myself that no colons are allowed in column headers, because otherwise this will just get too bloody complicated. So I'm going to start by just handling a slice. So let's just start with 1, 3. 1, 3. Mark that as input. I'll call that my slice. So I want to, I'm then going to have to generalize this to say, if there's a colon there, then do this stuff to turn a slice into a sequence. Otherwise, do stuff with numbers. Otherwise, do stuff with column headers, whatever. But for now, let's just work with the slice as numbers. So we'll say text split this by semicolon, and I'm not immediately going to say minus minus because I do want to allow for the idea that this could be col k, col p, or something like that. Okay, so I guess, yeah, let's have headers down here, and that can be whatever we'll say, col and char of sequence of 26 starting from 65. That's fine. Marks input. Okay. And I guess I'll just make that a value. All right. So first, I just want to split it. Then the step obviously is never going to be a header. It's going to be either omitted or it's going to be a number. And the step is the first thing that I want to think through, because if the sign of the step, in other words, whether we're stepping forward through the list or backward through the list, will inform how I treat any missing values here. So let's just label these as we go. First, we're going to split. Then we're going to get the step, and that is just going to be if columns of this, of that, is less than 3, then it's 1. Otherwise, it's 1 times index this guy by 3. So then if I have a step of, if I have a step of -1, say, I get that. If I have a step of 1, I get that. If I have a step of whatever, -7, I get that. Now, obviously, going from 1 to 3 in steps of -7 is not possible. I've not completely decided how I'm going to handle that, but let's get to that one thing at a time. Okay, so then I'm going to want, I guess let's do call nums. And then I'm just thinking if the header option is omitted, then X matching this against call nums is just going to give nothing anyway. So I think maybe I can just do this. So let's say X match. I suppose I'll take from this the first two columns, and I want to X match those against the headers. Oops. And that's NA, which is fine. But if I said whatever, colon call C, then I'd get a 3 here, and that's good. All right, let's go back to 1 to 3. So this is, let's do this num from header. Oh, bloody. All right, so then the num should be if error this, then take this 2. Now, how does that behave if there's no 3? Probably fine because there's still an empty 3. That's okay. So if I put that, okay. All right, so let's try pre-format column n. Oh yeah, that's a very sensible idea, because then I will not have to keep screwing around like this. Thank you, Bo. Okay, so sorry, where was I? Split. Oh yeah, so then if that's an error, I want 1 times that, and then this is where I'll get to filling in values. So basically, if it's not a match to the header and it's not a number, then I need to fill it in. For which I'm going to need the max dimension. So let's just make that another argument, and well, I guess for now it's 26. Whoops, wrong place. Okay. Okay. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, so the behavior here basically depends on the sign of the step. So if there's a start but not an end, and the step is positive, then we're going to the end. We're going to 26. If there's a start but not a step, but not an end, and the step is negative, then we're going to the start. Okay, so I think I can just say if error this, then it's going to be h stack if, or no, sorry, maybe the other way around. We'll say if the sign is less than, sorry, if the step is less than 0. Oh, and sorry, I just realized I want to do one more bit of error catching here, which is to say, do I want? Yeah. Yes, I do. So I want to allow. Basically, I don't want this to be able to be 0. So I'm going to say, let's just do it longhand. If this equals 0, then 1. Otherwise, that's fine. Not elegant, but it's fine. Okay, so now we're going to say if that is less than 0. I'm just thinking I could do like error catching for non-integer, but again, I think I'm writing this for my use. I will use it the right way, so I'm just going to leave that alone. So if that is less than 0, then the default values are that it should start at the end, which would be this, and end at the start, which would be that. So h stack that with that. Otherwise, h stack 1 with that. Okay, so now that fills in 1 with 26, but if I put in another colon and -1, oh, hang on, wait, I'm not, why is this? Why has this got to 3 now? Ah, ha 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 ha. Hang on, is this? No. Oh, sorry, it's because I'm taking 2 rows and not 2 columns. Stupid. All right, there we go. Okay, so let's say if I wanted to go from 7 down, that would go from 7 to 1. That's good. If I wanted to go up from, yeah, down to 15, that would go 26 to 15. That's good. If I wanted to go up to 15, that would go into 15. That's good. If I wanted to go up from 4, that would go 4 to 26. That's good. If I wanted to go down from 4, we'll go 4 to 1. Okay, I think that's now working as I want it to. Okay. So then I need to build the sequence. So I guess my number of, say, num steps is going to be the absolute value of this minus this divided by, I guess, that minus that divided by this. And then what way do I need to round? Let's see if this is, say, from 4 and -2s. So I want the 4. I want the, yeah, so this I guess is round up. Sorry, to 0 decimal places. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Does this handle edgy cases? Right, I guess is what I'm worried about. So let's say I want to go from 6 to 4. That should be 2-step. Oh no, that's starting 1 step. That's not good. So then maybe what I want is actually round down on +1. Let's see. So 6 and 4 would be 2 steps, yes. If I went to 3, that shouldn't change the number, and it doesn't. If I went to 2, that should add 1, and it does. Okay. And if we're going in steps of 1, that interestingly is not giving an error, but it probably should. No, I think it's okay, actually. But where's the 5 coming from? That doesn't. Sorry, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, okay, fine. That's fine. So then my sequence should just be sequence. The number of rows is this. The start is, I guess, if this is less than 0, then it's the min. Yeah, I guess if this is how I want to use this, then I should probably sort this, right? So let's sort this by column. So then it's going to be a sequence of this many steps, starting from if the step is negative, then we're going to start from the bigger number. Otherwise, we're going to start from the smaller number. And we're going to end at the other one. So let's just say if that's greater than 0, then that. Okay, so no, what? Oh wait, my number of steps is step. What if I? Oh, sorry. Whoops. Yeah. No, sorry. The step is step, not the other one. It will end up at the other one by itself, or as near to the other one as it can get. Okay, so now let's say. Okay, so this is naturally interpreting you're not allowed to do 621, so I will assume that you mean 621, which I think is what I want. I want it to be resilient rather than throw errors. So that goes there. Now, crucially, can I just go ... -1? Yes, that's lovely. That's one of my favorite things about Python is how easy it is to reverse a list. Okay, and if I want to go from call G in steps of -1, no. Oh, sorry, that's going to call G in steps of -1. Yes, that is fine. Call G is the 7th, right? Yes. So that's going 26 down to 7. Good. And then if I want to go from call G in steps of -1, that will go 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Cool. Okay. So that's all, you know, one feeder to one edge case of all of this, but it is definitely the most complicated edge case. So then, now how do I generalize so that this can also be a number or an array of numbers or a header or an array of headers? I think the first thing to do is test, does it contain a colon, and if so, pursue this path, and then we'll go from there. Okay. Okay. So so. Hey, Lorenzo. All right. We understand you're a busy man. It's all good. All right. This is probably not a good day to drop in for 5 minutes because I'm like 35 minutes into writing one absurdly complicated function. There's nothing interesting or informative going on at the moment. It's just me getting muddled up with all my requirements. Anyway, okay. So let's, I guess, what's going on with me? Let's shift all this down. And let's start by, I don't know, we'll call it need slice. And that's just going to be regex test of this by colon. So now if this becomes sequence comma 3, that's false, and then we just don't pursue any of the rest of that. And actually now I don't want it formatted as text. Oh, yeah, it's just one really wide column. Oops, never mind. But it will pay off. Yes, that is my hope. That is certainly my hope. Okay, so then if we don't need a slice, now the question is, how do I think about the prioritization for headers? I think you'll lose my hair after so much lambda writing. It's certainly a risk. That which I have not already lost. So I guess I want to allow for the possibility that, like, I'm thinking of this as like column headers here, but I want these slicers to be able to operate on both rows and columns. And so potentially what I'm slicing in this direction could be a field that contains numbers. And therefore, if headers are provided, I want my first choice to be match it against the headers, and my second choice to be the other thing, to be use it as numbers. Okay, so let's do this then. We're going to say if is omitted, which I'm sure won't make any sense when I give it this argument, but fine. If the headers are omitted, then it's just the slice, right? It's just that. Otherwise, it's going to be if error x match this against headers, then n11 hash. So that's 1, 2, and then if instead of that it was 1 and call A, that's a bad example, I guess, 1 and call C, that would work. But if I had a column or a row that was titled 1, then this would default to that. And I think that makes sense because, I mean, typically, obviously, I would never pass an array that's a mix of numbers and column headers. That's ridiculous. But the headers argument I just won't populate if I'm passing an array of numbers, and I will populate if I'm passing an array of column headers. So in general, I'm not worried about mixing these. I just want to make sure that. So at some point while I was scribbling notes on this, I thought I could just say, if it's a number, take the number, otherwise blah, blah, blah. But I want to allow for the possibility that there is a number as a column header. And so actually I'm giving first priority to match it against the list of headers if that exists. Now, my question is, what happens if it doesn't exist? My only worry is that a 0 might match, but I guess a 0 is not a valid. Well, okay, let's just test. So let's say lambda of array and optional headers xmatch array against headers. And let's say I give that an array that is 1, 2, and I give it headers that are sequence 4 first, just to make sure that it's generally working, and it is. And let's say I give it 1, 3, that's fine. And I give it 1, 7, and it throws an error, that's fine. So now let's say that that is absent, and it just throws values, which is kind of exactly what I would want it to do. My only question is, because an omitted argument is often treated a lot like a 0, will 0 return something? And it doesn't. So that's cool. Then I don't need to worry about the if omitted part at all. I can just do this. Okay. So actually this whole branch of the logic where you don't need a slice is much simpler. I inserted a bunch of columns here kind of needlessly. Okay, cool. So, the other thing is I want to be mindful about the orientation. So this has to come out either as a column or as a row if you have a slice that gives multiple things. And my most natural behavior, I think, would be for that to be oriented one way if it's the column slice and the other way if it's the row slice, because that way we get broadcast. We are working on the super picker, Eric. It is, well, right now it's a hot mess, but it is going to be very super. The super picker is just like, I mean, I'm 40 minutes in and I'm still like lost in the middle of step 1 of the 3-step program. I'm starting to feel like it was foolish to think that I would get this all done today, but you never know. You never know. The day is young. All right, so I guess maybe there's going to be an optional argument here for an orientation. I like that. I think there should be an optional argument for an orientation. So I guess that should be an optional argument, and it should be output in row, with the default being no. So let's say that. Then I want to say if we're outputting in row, then 1, otherwise that, and then the other way around. Otherwise 1. The reason for this is that it is great if my thing can broadcast. So like, I don't know, let's go back to sequence 7, 7. So if I want, columns 2 and 5 and rows 2, 4, and 6, then it's great to be able to pick up all of these 9 values. Wait, what on earth did I, sorry, whatever. That is one plausible set of 9 values. But if I give it the arguments 2, 4, 5, and 2, 4, 6, what I might mean by that is I want 2, 2, and 4, 4, and 5, 6. And so, like, let's just put this out. So we got 2, 4, 5, and 2, 4, 6. So if I say index of this by this and this, it gives me that. So that is 9, 25, and 34. Just turn those yellow. But if I say index of this by this and to row of this, then it gives me all these 9 things, 9, 11, 13. I guess I should just highlight the new ones. It also gives me all of this. And I want my function to be able to do both of those things because both of those things are useful. The reason I isolate slicing for 1D vectors, yeah, exactly. So my hope is that at least most of the time, this orientation should be something that gets handled within the workings of the other function and that I don't need to worry about very much. But I think it's going to have to be there. So that's it, outputting in row, and then if I omit that, then that's it, outputting in a column. Good. Okay, so now I think that I want to just make that a 1 for now, make that call E again for now, and make this, I guess I'll go back to having 1, 2, sorry, let's say 13 in threes. Okay, so now I think that I can do most of the work of this if I just generate a lambda statement. Sorry, paste lambda statement. Okay, so can I move these around? They're not in the order I want. I guess I can do that later. Doesn't matter. Oh no, I can't. Yep, there's a thing here. I don't usually do that, but so I want the slice. That's the primary thing. Then what is result 2? I'm not sure I want result 2 to be a thing. N14 to N39. Where is that? N14. Oh, that's my headers. Okay. Let's rename that to headers. So sorry, I've got slice, then the headers will be the second thing, then the max dimensions, and then in row, and actually, no, I guess max, yeah, I'll generally want, I think max dimensions is going to be inferred from other places, but it is going to be a necessary argument, whereas headers and in row are both going to be optional. Okay, so then let's see. We're doing split is text split of whoops, sorry, back up here. Split is text split of site. Yes, text is sorry, step is that. That's good. Num from header is that. Num is that. That's good. Max to, yep, good. Num steps is good. Result, I love it. Oh, robot is beautiful, Eric. It's just a wonderful thing. Okay. But now I want to go right back to the start and say, if I need a slice, then do this stuff. So, and I want to put that whole if outside the let, because then I won't need to go into the let at all. So let's grab all of this. Shrink it up a bit, come up here. So we're going to say regex test on the slice. I'm going to say if regex test on slice, I can spell, slice, then we're going to go down this road. And if not, let's just come to the end of this. Hello, Harry. As you can see, I am much like you, building something that is more long-term capex than actually going to be helpful for tomorrow. But anyway, all right, where was I? So yeah, my else then is going to be, just say x for now, and close the if, and then this is the x. So it's if error x match the slice against headers. Based on your feedback, we're making it so to value will work on parameters. Equivalent to, oh, beautiful. I love it. I love it. That's excellent. Okay, so then we're going to if error x match slice, not slide, slice against headers, which it won't autocomplete for me because it's an optional argument. Why not? Why not autocomplete? You're so mean. And then slice. Okay. So now let's try omitting headers. Harry says, I can't wait for tomorrow's round 3 case. Build a C# compiler and compile this code. I did say you and I will be playing very different games come Saturday, Harry, which is now tomorrow. Oh my God. So yeah, no comment. Okay, so we're not dealing with that. So then, wait, why is this? Have I broken something? Why is this not outputting? Probably because there's an at situation going on somewhere. Yeah, it's the take, isn't it? Ah, yeah, okay. So this is, Eric, take note. This is a risk. This is robot using take to, so I just pointed when I did the sequence down here, I just pointed at single parts of something that was computed as an array. And one of the things I love about robot is that it sensibly interprets that um, as a dynamic reference to the first cell of this or the last cell of this or something like that. But the way that it does it is with take. And the risk of that when you're trying to use a sequence is that take returns an array and sequence does not like arrays. So I think I can just put an at here and an at here. I might rewrite this later to make it more. Oh, no, I can't. There's more going on here than I realized. Sequence if in row has num steps calculated. Maybe there's. Oh yeah, this is doing take as well. All right, so we'll put an at there and here. Actually, no, I can just put one at on all of num steps. There we go. That's better. Okay, so that is my slice, and then if I say that I want that in a row, it'll do that, and then let's say that I want to slice from col A to col P in steps of 2. Obviously, oh, what? Oh, interesting. I don't know if that's good, but so I think I see what's happening here, which is there. So if I just, I guess, delete col A and col P from this, they are, because they're not matched. So like here I've omitted the headers, and so obviously these are not numbers, and so I guess it's just treating these as omitted because my default value when you fall back is, if it's a positive step, start from 1. If it's a positive step, start from, if it's a positive step, end at 26, and if it's a negative step, go from, last to first. Which, I don't know if I wanted to do that. Anyway, again, for now, I'm willing to write it in a way that allows it to make mistakes if it's used wrong, because don't use it wrong. Although this is unsettling me slightly. Because my worry is that this looks like a sensible output, like column A is the first column if I hadn't deleted it and if I had provided headers, and this looks like it's skipping off in 2s merrily, and so if I had omitted the headers when I meant to include them, I might look at this and think that that it was skipping along and going to stop at P, but actually what's happened is I've omitted the headers. It doesn't know what column P is, and so it's just going to the end. I think that is a sufficiently plausible error that I should try to fix for it. But how do I fix for it? So I guess I need to distinguish between 1 times this is an error versus this is omitted. So, okay, I think I can do that. Let's say, I'm saying if the header thing is an error, fine. Then I'm saying if error this. So I guess I could start by saying if take P14 2 is equal to blank. Oh, what am I trying to say? I want to say if multiplying it by 1 is an error and it is not blank. Is that what I want? Okay, so let's first say if is error this. So I want that's an error and for it to okay, no, here's what I want. I just want to say if it's blank, then go with the default values. Otherwise, go with the values that are in there. If the values that are in there are not numeric and have not been found among the headers, that will throw an error. Okay. Oh my God. Okay, so if take that is equal to blank, then do this stuff. Otherwise, 1 times take p14 hash 2. And that now throws an error because those columns are not there. And that is, I think, the behavior that I want. Okay, so now let's go grab all of this. So I just want the second argument of the if error. And let's go put that in here. So that's the step num from header num. Second argument of the if error is this. I'm going to replace that with this and then fix all the names. So this one is split. This one is, wait, what? Oh, sorry, step. This one is maxdim. Oh, sorry, it's named an underscore now, maxdim. This one is maxdim. This one is split again. Okay. Name error, oh God. All right, what? Oh, yeah, I might have typed split without letting it auto-complete to the underscore version of split. Value. Good, that's what I want. Okay, so now let's put call A back, oops, no, let's put call A back in there, let's put call P back in there. So now it's throwing an error, but I want to give it headers. And so now it goes 1 through 5. That seems good. Let's just index on the headers by that so we can see it's working, but I think that's right. O, and then the next one would be P, but you don't do it. Eric says, should we change something to prove how that works? Yes. So I have a function which is just called at, which is basically my workaround for this. And it does exactly what you said. It says if there's 1 row and 1 column, then put an at in front of it, otherwise leave it as it is. And so if you just wrap any take in, in my mind, this is known as the defensive at. So if you wrap any take or any argument going into sequence or anything else like that in a defensive at, it means that you avoid the, array of single value is not equal to single value issue. So yeah, I would suggest doing something like that. Okay, so that's that. And then just for argument's sake, say I wanted to go from some named column to, oh, I haven't handled negative numbers yet. That's important. So, okay, I was going to say to column minus something, but I haven't handled that yet, so hold on. So I'll come back to that in a second, but let's say I want to go to, I don't know, column 23. Then column D is 4. That takes me out as far as 22, and again, 23 isn't there. That's fine. Oops, sorry. Column D to column 2. Interesting. So if there's not a negative step stated, but they're in reverse order, should I give the outputs in reverse order? I think it's an easy enough fix to just say add -1 if you want it in reverse order. And this, I think this sort going on down here does make it a little more robust. So I think I'm okay with that, although that's reasonable minds could differ on that. Okay. So now, negative numbers, really important. Really, really important. So this number here, yeah, so where I say 1 times that, here, so 1 times take split, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so then I want to say that plus, let's just get this straight. So I want, oops, sorry, I need more columns here. This column is weirdly wide, but There's only one of it. Ah. So let's put in a couple more. So sequence 26. Then my negative numbers will be sequence of 26 starting from minus 26 in steps of 1. So this plus this should be always 25, or in other words, yeah, so I want to, so for a negative, I just want to add the max dim and subtract 1. No, sorry, add the max dim and add 1. I can count. Okay, so I need to do that in 2 places. The first is in the interpretation of the slice, and that is going to be we're going to say plus this number is less than 0 times max, times open bracket, max dim plus 1. And now let's see if I can go from column D to the second last column. No. Because, wait, what? So num from header, the second part of num from header is an error. That is not blank, and so we should be going not to here, but here. Take split less than 0. Sorry. 1 times again. Okay, there we go. From column D to the second last. Hooray! That's cool. And then the second place that I need to do it is down here. No. Here. Okay, so if our X match slice against headers, then it's going to be slice plus slice less than 0 times times max dim plus 1. Okay, so now if I have, I don't know, say I want the first column and the third last column. No. What? Oh, sorry, because I'm not giving it an 11 hash. There we go. What? That's not good. Now what am I doing? Bloody hell. Okay, so first thing I think I want to say, if regex says at slice, because that's going to, so if this is an array, I only want to test once. Columns are is a more reliable check. Sorry, rows times columns count A ignores blank cells. Yes. Yes, agreed. Count A is much faster, but yeah. I feel like rows times calls should be its own function, but anyway, that's a whole other thing. All right, so something's going wrong here. That's fine. All right, so let's just take a step back. Sorry, before I change that, part, not all, I don't know what else is going wrong here, probably 10 other things, but part of what's going wrong here is that now that this is an array, and if your if condition is an array, that means that it evaluates both sides, and if one of them, if the branch that you're not supposed to go down at all is, enormous, then it'll output something enormous. So that's why I only want to regex test the first value, and then if that happens, then I want everything that depends on slice to depend on at slice, because I can't handle. Do I want to do this all the way through? I think I do. I guess maybe that's the only place I even refer to slice. Okay, good. So now what's going wrong down here? We're definitely getting an error when we X match slice against headers. So then our max dim slice less than 0. I'm confused. Okay. So let's just take, let's say if 0, then all that stuff. And what I want, let's just output slice for a second. That's okay, really? Now something's very wrong. So regex test of at this is valid. What? Why is that not just fail? Oh, is it because of brackets maybe? No. What? Regex. I was deliberately using regex test instead of isNumber search because I thought it would be more robust for this kind of thing. So regex test 1 colon. Okay. What the heck is going on here? I guess that. What? I'm super confused. Bo says at plus. Huh. Let's see, do I need the brackets for that? Huh. Really? I thought the functions that required pluses to be put in front of them were. Oh no, sorry. I understand. No, this is me being silly, not Microsoft being silly, because I'm used to using at on arrays, but this is a range reference. So I'm using at here as implicit intersection, and there is no implicit intersection between this. I guess it would be this column and this row. Right. Sorry. So I need to convert it into an array. My God, what would I do without Bo here to steer me right? Okay, thank you for that. All right, so then where's my real function? It's here. So at plus slice, much better. And we're good, except that we haven't, but now I think that's just because I've broken things down here as I was trying to debug. So I want to get rid of the value if false, get rid of the closing bracket, and get rid of the if 0. Hooray! Okay, what would we all do without Bo? Thomas said that is the right question. Less, I think, is the short answer. Very much less. Okay, so now we've got 1 minus 3 call P. It's good. I think I like it. Okay. We need a coarse and implicit intersection nuances. Yeah. All right. Well, I'll give you the 1 minute version of it. So, in the Dark Ages, before there were dynamic arrays, if you had a row vector or a column vector, and you referenced all of that, obviously it didn't give you the whole thing like it does now because it could only give one cell, but the cell it gave you was the cell of that range corresponding to your row. The way to get the equivalent thing now is to say at. So in other words, if you at a column from any row that intersects with that column, the at takes the implicit intersection with that. In other words, I want where this vector hits my current row. And equally, if you do it the other way around, if you say at, that, the implicit intersection there is the one that's above you. So that's the implicit intersection between the sort of column of a column vector or the row of a row vector with the other one that you're currently in. So in other words, if you're intersecting with a row vector, then it's the intersection with the column you're currently in. If you're intersecting with a column vector, then it's the row that you're currently in. If you're outside that range, then there is no implicit intersection and it gives you a value. So here we're trying to implicitly intersect, what's in this column in this row, and the answer is, well, that row reference doesn't extend that far, so it's broken. So yeah, basically in the old days, if you just wrote equals that, you got what you now get if you write equals at that, and the at was added for backward compatibility. But the nice thing about at is that if you have, I don't know, sequence 5, if you apply at to any calculated array like that, it just gives you the first value. And so what Bo was reminding me of is that here, for example, if I want to get the first value from here, then the plus converts it converts it from a range to a calculated array, and then the at takes the first value of it. Whereas with just the at, it's not doing that. So I almost never use at for its original implicit intersection purposes, I almost only ever use it as a shorthand for give me the first value. But because I almost never use it like that, I forget that if you're referring to a range, then you do need to have an at plus going on. Okay. So that I feel like is the biggest single piece of this done now. Oh, they confirmed the authors for tomorrow in WhatsApp. Stop everything. I have to go and look. Who is writing cases tomorrow? Oh man, so many messages to catch up on later. Here it is. Wait, I see the competitors. I see the hosts. Where are the... Oh, here we are. Peter Charles, Juan Jose Fuentes, Vincent Morin, Mikojo Rakotolasoa. I'm so bad at pronouncing the Madagascan second names. Apologies. Nick Boberg and Tim Froelich. Okay. That is a cool lineup. I think I've seen a case from all of those before except Vincent, I guess. I think he's French Canadian or something. And Tim. And I mean, Peter is one of my all-time favorite case authors. I love JJ, especially just the chat in JJ's cases. Mikoja did the Splatoon case, and I think he shared another free case as well. And I think he wrote some of the Madagascar May cases too. And then Nick Boberg, of course, did Deep Sea Diving, my nemesis, and Iron Man, which has been on my mind lately because I'm about to do one. And yeah, I don't know that Tim has written a case before. Cool. That's exciting. I don't think I stand a chance in a well-designed Peter Charles case where you won't have bad design to trip up on. I don't know that these authors are given in order. I can't remember if they announced them in order before. But I would be very happy to duke it out on a Peter. Actually, would I? I might be terrified to duke it out on a Peter Charles case because Peter's cases tend to be like very quick flowing. But what that means is it would almost certainly be a question of, who can complete the entire case in 15 minutes. And then if you trip up on something and you miss some edge case or something and you're at 1247, sitting in debugging hell, just hoping the other person doesn't catch you. I don't know. It feels risky. In some ways, I would rather have a rock hard case where, even if you get stuck, maybe you can get a level further or something. Anyway, whatever. All right. Long aside, sorry about that. All right, so now I think we're almost ready to actually write picker. I thought more about this. I actually don't... Bo implemented this, and I thought it was a very clever idea. And now that I've thought about it more, I'm actually not sure it's even necessary. So my rationale for this is, if we come back to here, like here we've got A as a variable and f as a function. No, I don't. So the idea would be that if you just want to work with, the whole of A, then you would write the inner kind of plumbing in such a way that you would just get like that this, what was passed to this would be the array and not a function. Whereas if you wanted to say, I don't know, a of 1 minus a of 2 plus blah 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 blah, then you would need to have a be a function that would return different pickers out. Low-key rooting for Harry, so I can see Tim battle it out in LCQR. I mean, technically, as long as I get one of the top half of losing scores, I wouldn't even have to do the last chance qualification round, which I hope that I will at least be among the better losers if I am a loser. But yeah, look, it's not lost on me that I do not have plucky underdog status in this battle, so I don't hold rooting for Harry against anyone. Harry winning would be a much more, narratively interesting outcome. Okay, anyway. So sorry, I'm still trying to work out. I think whether there's a picker return the array directly option or not, there will have to be something to tell scan by call, like some optional argument over here, say, um, that says, do I want all of A or something like that. Um, do, 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 do. Harry, you wouldn't be resorting to sneaky trickery, would you? um, so I think I would need to signal to it in some way. Like in a perfect world, it could read, am I just saying A or am I saying A with values in front of it? But I don't know, unless we think of some other clever thing. I don't think there's a way for it to do that. And so I think we'll have to explicitly tell it, should A be passed as an array slash value, or should it be passed as a picker function? And if you have to tell it that, then there's no need to make it an option in the picker function. So in other words, I think with the picker function, you could say something like, pick of array, and then if you're supposed to return all A, then you'd give the no pick argument. Otherwise, you'd omit it or something like that. But I think you could just as well say, if we're returning all of A, then give me the array. Otherwise, give me pick of the array. So I was going along thinking I was going to implement this, but I think I'm now actually not going to implement that. Okay. So what is the full set of arguments to pick? It's going to be the array. It's going to be slice 1, slice 2, optional. That's optional. It's going to be header 1, header, I guess I could spell it out, then I wouldn't need the internet, whatever, it doesn't matter. Header 2. These are both optional. Then I have a whole array input since my by-row is integrated into many lambdas, forcing immediate parentheses would break them all. Okay, that's sensible. That's sensible. So then I think what I want is one orientation option. And that will be if there's no second slice. And sorry, I guess this is kind of optional in that if this is omitted, then we go to the curried version. And I think the curried version, I think I'm going to handle the curried version just by a recursive call. So in other words, I think I'm going to say something like if, curried, which will be some combination of, is omitted slice 1, I guess, will be the test, then pick, then it's going to be lambda of slice 1, slice 2, pick of array slice 1, slice 2, and so on. And then, if we're not in that branch of things, then it's going to be whatever index array, blah, 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 blah. Okay. So the orientation then, if there is one dimension, then this will just be the equivalent of, output in a row versus output not in a row. And that will only apply to the slice, because otherwise I'll just honor the existing orientation. So if 1D, then this is force to row. If it's 2D, then my default will be that the second slice goes orthogonal to the first slice. So the override will be, I guess in theory you could want the override to be both to a row or both to a column or both to a row, but I think that's overcomplicated. I can just wrap it in a transpose if I need to. So if 2D is going to be force, so the default will be that they would go in opposite directions. So I guess I'll just call it force align. Okay, so now, sorry, where's my crazy lambda gone? Not that one, this one, yes, okay. This could be its own standalone lambda. I'm not sure that I want it anywhere other than in picker right now. For now, I'm just going to make it part of picker. Okay. So, sorry, here's my stuff. So I'm going to say lambda of array, yes, slice one. I just write it like that. It's long enough to not be a range name. Slice two header. I just make it header one. Then again, long enough not to be a range name, so I can just do that. Header two, and I guess I'll just call it orient. Okay. Then we're going to say if is omitted slice one. Then we're just going to say lambda. So yeah, I think anything we do with these should carry over or just be nothing the same. So I think we're just going to say lambda of slice one optional slice two pick. It's going to be underscore pick of, and then just all of this stuff. Except without this. And the key thing with the recursive call is that you have to make sure that it won't get into a loop. So here we're saying this branch is only called if there's no slice one, and you can only get into the recursive call by having an argument for slice one. So because this has to contain slice one, this will never go down this branch a second time. It'll have to go down the other branch. Okay, so slice one, slice two, these are all now not optional, but I think that they will be passed on correctly as omitted. I think I've tested that before, but just because it's kind of important to this, I'm going to test it again now in a second. So that's pick, that's lambda, that's if it's omitted, and then otherwise we do a bunch of other stuff, which I'll just label x for now. That's the end of the if, that's the end of the lambda, fine. And it can be of, I don't know, that and one, which sends it to the second branch. That's good. Okay, so now just quick test. Lambda of A, optional B, optional C. Then I want to say, what do I want to say? I guess I want to say lambda of X, Y, Z. Let's say is omitted. Sorry, these are optional. Y and Z is omitted. Let's say Z. And I'll call that on A, B, C. And I want to call that on 1, say. That says Z is omitted. And if I put a 3 there, that is not omitted. Okay, so I think that's working. And just to double check, Y is omitted, even though there's a space there. But if I put something there, okay, fine. So my worry was just that if I forced it to pass on the omitted B, that it might kind of coerce it into a 0 or something like that. But it seems like it retains that, which is good, which means that I can write my function like this. Okay. So now the other part. So the second branch that I need to split is if is omitted slice 2. So if that's omitted, then I'm going down the one-dimensional array path. In which case, I'm going to want index array. Oh, sorry, I also need to bring in the whole lambda here. So if I just say index array 1 for a second, otherwise x, close the if, close. Bo says, wow, recursion on the parameter, that's inception level stuff. I did it with something else on the Lambda lab. Oh yeah, I did it with my my 2RC-ref function. And I got caught on it because I tried it on something like A1, B5, C7, and I tried it on something like A1, B5, C7. And so the logic was, if there's more than one, then split it up and then go down this branch or something. But anyway, somehow I ended up cycling back through the branches, so I had to add an extra to RCRef. Let's take a look at it. I had to add an extra argument that was, yeah, just one per cell, which is never called, but then is called in the recursive call. So it kind of forces you to go down the right branch at the first pick, because this one somewhere down here, yeah, this, where is it? Oh my God, this function is enormous. Anyway, yeah, so this makes a recursive call back to RCRef, but this makes sure that when you make the recursive call, you make it with, where's it gone? To RCRef. You make the recursive call with this one for just one per cell, and then if there's just one per cell, that sends you down this branch so that you don't get stuck in a recursive loop. So I will say it's enormously more convenient because you don't have to like write this function out. You don't have to rewrite all the logic of the function a second time or kind of turn it into a mini lambda within the lambda or anything like that, which definitely makes things easier. But yeah, it's complicated. Okay, so now I need to grab that other lambda, the slice lambda, which is somewhere over here. Where did I put it? Just search for lambda. There it is. My God, this is enormous, but fine. Not the arguments, just the lambda. And then, sorry, where'd I put my bloody pick? I should probably be a little more organized about where I put things, but never mind. Okay, so if we get into this branch, oh, I must have accepted a correction because it's got rid of a bunch of spacing, but whatever. I want that, and then I want that can indent, and this can, oops, sorry, this can indent just to make it a little more logical. Okay. So now we get into my second branch. If is omitted slice 2, but before I get into that, then I guess I need to have, yeah, I think I'll do it here. So we'll say let slice be that whole big lambda, comma. So then, if slice 2 is omitted, we're going to index array 1 by slice of slice 1. Oh, it's not giving me arguments. I hate that. What are the arguments for this? Slice, max dim, headers, and in row. Okay. So my max dim, again, the way I'm going to do this could result in user error, but I think I have to assume here that this will only be called in this way on a 1D array, otherwise it doesn't make any sense. So I think for my max dim, I'll just do rows array times count array. So sorry, where are we going? Way down here. So this will be rows of array times, I said count, but I meant columns of array. Then the third argument is going to be the headers, and that will be header 1. And again, that will be treated as omitted if it was omitted on the outside. God, I'm an hour and a half in and I still haven't written the picker utility that was going to allow me to do cool things with scan by call. I definitely underestimated. Like, I thought, wow, I'll block out a couple of hours and I'll be able to do anything. Wow, this is a big project. Okay. Then, okay, so then the last argument is in row, and for that I want to provide orient because that's where I'm going to put the option to force it. Wow, where are we going? Here, header 1 and orient. That closes the index. Good. Okay. Otherwise, we have the 2D version, and then I want to index. Wait, so if demo goes straight to day 2, then it doesn't really matter whether. It matters whether I do well, because that will determine whether I make it into the top half of losers or better. But also, if I don't win, then I can't get one of the top 8 slots that will let me go actually to the final. So yeah, it's like battle 1 is high stakes because I could fail to make day 2. The second battle is low stakes because If I lose it, I've already made day 2, and then the third battle is high stakes again, because then I have a chance to get to day 3. Something like that. All right, so index array, we're going to slice. It matters to you. It does. It does. That's totally fair and reasonable. Not from the Vegas perspective, but you want to win. That's appropriate. I want to win too, just to be clear, and plan to. But I've often planned to and had that not be how things turned out. So, not to say that you need to be quaking in your boots. All right. So slice 1, the max dimension. Now, the first argument is the rows, then header 1. Now, what do I do with the orientation? The default, this is the row numbers. The default for that should be to go down the column. So that should, what I want is my default here is 0. And if I change, so yeah, then I think I want to put in orient here. No, hang on, wait. No, I want this one to go down a column anyway. And then the second one, I want it to go across a row unless, so I think for the second one, I think it's going to be 1 minus orient. I mean, if this works first time, I'll be very happy, but anyway, no pressure or anything. Okay, so then slice 2 columns of the array header 2. I need to check, did I say headers or header? I said header, good. Dim going out of the competition early. I see what you did there. I see what you did there. I'm not going to reward you with a laugh because that doesn't deserve to be rewarded with a laugh. Okay, so the default for this one should be to go across unless orient tells us not to go across. Then we close the index. Oh God, we've got closing bracket hell. So let's see, where are we? We're going to close the if. So many brackets. Oh my God. All right, so let's go back up to the top. So first lambda, parameter, 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 blah, 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 parameter, parameter. Ugh, now I've got my timer here to remind me not to work behind my face, but that does mean that this thing is also, I guess I can put it up here. Can I? Yes. Oh God, I want to, okay, there we go, fine. All right, so that is not closed out properly, which is okay. So then if is omitted, then I do this stuff. Yes, that's the currying version. Otherwise, all of this, again, that's not closed, but fine, we made it that far. So then we're going to let slice be all of that madness. And then we're going to do this. Okay, so it's not too bad. So I think I close the if, then I need to close the let. What else am I still needing to close? Close the lambda? Anyway, whatever, fine. Let's just put more closed brackets and see if it helps. Okay. Gulp. All right. Let's save lambda as. Oops. Probably means there's something wrong with it. I don't know. I'll just try manually doing it for now. New underscore pick. Okay, so let's get to it. Let's do a sequence of 7, 7. And let's do, I don't know, whatever. Call and sequence, comma 7. And let's do row, sorry, row and sequence 7. The trouble is there's so many settings to this, there's so many different things to test. But anyway, let's start with pick. From this array, start with something simple. Let's do 1, 2, and 3, 4. Oh dear, okay. All right, let's start with something simpler. Let's try 1. That worked. Hooray. Actually, that did not work because that is not supposed to be how it behaves on a 1D array. God. Oh, I can't believe I even got this wrong. What the hell? Okay. Where's my? Bring it down next to this. All right. So slice one is not omitted, so we go down this branch. We define slice. That's fine, and then we get to the calculation. Slice two is omitted, so we should be in this world, which means we're calling index with one argument. Why is that? I mean, it's doing something that's not crazy, but this face is more likely to be knocking it. We'll see. We will see what happens. I have learned not to take anything for granted in knockout rounds. This is round 3, which is my median round of departure in the competition historically. So, yeah, no comment. All right, so, all right, so take that, give it these arguments. Okay, so now, just to test if we're in the right, oh, right, that's the problem. Brackets are not closing where they're supposed to be. Good to know. Okay, so this index has array, row number, and then all of this is the column number. Okay, bad, better. That gives a ref error, which, let's just see. If I say index of this by 1, does that give a ref error too? Yes, then I'm happy. And if I were to instead say, I don't know, 1, 2, and 3, 4, like we tried before. Good. So that's row 1 and 2 and column 3 and 4. Oh, wait, all right. No, what? Am I doing this the wrong way around? 3, 4, and 10, 11. It's this, but it's oriented the wrong way. Index goes row num first. So, what? How if I... Right, hang on. Sorry, it is doing rows 1 and 2 and columns 3 and 4. It's just pivoting them. Shouldn't an argument of 1 return all columns of row 1? I guess it should if it's 2D, yeah. Ugh. All right, that's another thing to fix. Hang on, let me just give myself a post-it note because yeah, that's much more intuitive functionality. But I don't want to do that until I fixed what's wrong right now. So let's just put in a rectangle, slice, just row or col if 2D and only one given. I will have to think through. I'll have to change the logic a little bit because that, in theory, that would mean that slice 1 could be omitted and slice 2 could be given. So we'll have to change the test for going into the currying version to be that they're both omitted. And then we'll have to say if, anyway, fine, not doing that right now. These are getting oriented wrongly, and that is because of the orientation. So let's just return, let's take this and put it here so that we just get that back. That's giving 1, 2 in a row. I thought my default was to give it a column, but that's omitted. And okay, hang on. Where's my slice workings gone? God, I really have made a mess of this sheet. Here, somewhere here. There it is. Okay. So in row was my default, but maybe I did it the wrong way around. So if in row, then my number of rows is 1. Yeah. So in row is omitted, which means this should go to num steps. Why does it not? Okay. So let's just take all of this stuff, get it out for a second, and let's just say slice of, oh, hang on. Yeah, no, I know why. It's not about, because if there's an orientation given, then I'm respecting the orientation, so I'm just being a clown. That should be 1, 2. This should be 3, 4. And then it works. Okay, but if I make it, do it by slice, and I say 1, 2, and 3, 4, it'll give me that. But if I say, I want you to screw around with, so that's header, that's the orientation, then it'll give me 3, 11. Okay, okay, that's good. I'll take that. Okay, so yeah, now I think I'm going to do Thomas's suggestion because it's a good one. Shouldn't an argument of one, sorry, yeah, that's the same thing. That's the one I was already looking at. Okay, so if they're both omitted, then we're going to go here. But I guess that means that, ooh. So that means this has to become optional. It means that's already optional. This has to become optional. But I guess the answer is you would never call the curried version with neither argument. That would just be stupid. And in the event that you did, it would just say, okay, I'm ready to take arguments now. So fine, I guess. I don't know. I'll experiment with that in a minute. Okay, then. So then my test here should not be if slice 2 is omitted. It should be if both the rows and the columns are greater than 0. So we'll say if rows of array -1 times columns of array -1. So in that case, we're in the 2D version, in which case we need to proceed down here. Sorry, so then the 1D goes to the end. So we'll cut that up here. Oops. Then, no, sorry, wait, where's, sorry, there's the if. Okay. I got my bracket pairings right here. Yes, I think I have. Fine. So, now I can either change slice to say if the slice is omitted, give me the full range. And actually, well, yeah, maybe I can just say if omitted, slice 1, colon. And if omitted, slice 2, colon. Will that work? I don't know, let's find out. So, suppose I just want 1, 2 now. Name error, oh dear, that's not good. What did I misspell in all my random manual editing over here? Where was I? Slice, wait, what? Slice 1, slice 2, it's underscores, what on earth did I? So this is the slice function. This is slice 1, this is slice 2. Array, header 1, header 2, orient. All seems fine. Rows of array, columns of array. I wish when it gave a name error, it would tell you you're trying to use the name X. That you're building your slice like slice matrix, rows, columns, so slice vertical array 3 returns the third item, and slice horizontal array 3. Yes, that is the intention. Oh, wait. No, sorry. Sorry, Thomas asked, let me just, God, I'm loving the live chat, but I'm also totally fragmenting my attention. So let's bring it over here. Thomas says, I thought you were building your slice like slice matrix rows columns. And the answer is I'm not. I want, if there's only one argument, I want it to be like index, so that so that if it's a windy array, whether it's a row or a column, I just give it the first slice. Similarly to how you can say like index of a column by 3 or index of a row by 3. But your point earlier about, if this is not a one-dimensional thing, if it's a two-dimensional thing, then we should be able to give one of these or the other of these, and just kind of include everything from the one that's not given. So yeah, in my version, I want to be able to say that slice horizontal array, comma 3, rather than having to do a second comma. But otherwise, yes, I agree. Okay, so what the heck have I done here? Blah, blah, blah. Okay, I guess the way to fix this is to put all of this here, and then let's text split this, God help me, by a bunch of stuff. Well, let's start with by, and actually let's do it into rows, by a comma, by bracket. I don't know, let's go with that for now. What does that give me? It should give me a bunch of tokens, and then if I take unique of those, so I'm looking for something toward the end that is wrong. Oh yeah, sorry. So let's trim this, and we're also going to break on line break, and we're also going to break on a space, and we're going to ignore empties. Okay, that looks better. In row sequence result, that seems fine. Slice plus. What's slice plus doing? Oh no, that's just the slice plus thingy thing. Oh wait, hang on. Where is slice happening here? I should be looking at this in the advanced formula environment, because that is the place to do this kind of thing. Where even is it anymore? We use it so rarely these days. Okay, I guess I'm going to need to put it on this side so that it's not behind my face. Loading slowly. There we go. Agent mode. No, thank you. Advanced formula environment. Yes, please. Okay. My God, this is enormous. Let's. Oops. No, go back to that cell. Thank you. Okay. This slice. What is this? Is this the one that's wrong? Selecting diagonal elements. 3, 2, 3. Yes, that makes sense. I will test that out in a minute. Okay, so sorry, what the heck have I done? Or X match slice, but then right. Sorry, so this is that. So that slice is within the definition of that. That's fine. So then what name am I using or abusing down here? None? I don't know. I'm so confused right now. So I'm in, these are not both omitted. So the product of these is 0. So I'm in the second branch, which is down here. Then rows of array. So my array is big. So rows of array times columns of array is positive. So I'm now in here. I'm indexing on this. Slice that. Blah, 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 blah. I'm so confused. All right, let's just try a couple of other simplifications to see if those help. So let's just try slice of slice 1. Oh, okay, that's not so good. What? That's very not good. What have I done? Okay, so that's my logical test to see if I go into the recursive call. If I don't, then it's all of that, which is good. Then, within that let, I have the definition of slice, the function, which is all of this stuff, down as far as here, and then I'm saying slice of slice 1, and that is returning a value error. What the absolute fork? Incorrect number of parameters. Oh. Ah, sorry. Yeah, okay. Stupid. So slice 1, 7. Okay, so that's working. So now I can undo a few times and I'll get back to here. So let's take this. Okay, so that works. So then let's try the second one. Put that here. That's the one giving the name error. Okay. We're narrowing it down at least. Columns are header 2, 1 minus orient. Okay, let's just for a second take the first row of this so that I get a 1D version. That gives me 1, 2. So then my naming seems quite consistent here. Header 1, header 2, orient. That's working. What the? Okay, let's just try. Sorry, so get rid of that. I'm so confused about what I'm doing wrong here. But let's take this again, and I want to slice of that 7. What? So there must be some branch of this that is broken. Why? Okay, hang on. Let's go back to here. And let's try getting rid of this and this. Keep that, and is it this? Is that like in principle broken? It is. Okay. So let's just put that in here and see what's going wrong. So split does that, fine. Numbers works, num steps works. That okay, so this version works. Oh my god. So confusing. Okay. So where are we going wrong? I guess I can cycle my steps here. So we'll say, wait, yeah, that's fine. So then let's say split works, okay. So then step num from header, just see if num works. Num is going to no, seriously? This must be where I like hand keyed name replacements. Ugh, so stupid. Oh, yep, there it is. I bet it's this. If step is less than 0. I bet there's an underscore in the step. God. Should have just re-roboted it and not tried to write it myself, because that's stupid. But anyway, fine. Okay, so then that's 126, and then if I go on to result, spill, but otherwise fine. Whatever. Pop it over here. Okay. Well, that was pretty dumb. Not gonna lie, that was pretty dumb. Okay, so somewhere down here there is step, which needs to become underscore step. Dying here, but okay, fine. Now it's working, ish. Wait, is it working? That's 1, 2, but it's only giving me one. Wait, what is that even giving me? So give me 1. That's giving me the first row, which is appropriate, except that the orientation is not good. Ah. So yeah, maybe my default orientations are the wrong way around. Let's just quickly try changing. Wait, no, that's the slice. Oh wait, hang on. Have I left this broken, didn't I? Oh, crap. Yes, I did. Bloody hell. Okay. Now, which is the least harmful way to do this string of undos that might bring me back to that working again? Okay, here we are. Now I just need to fix this step. And then we might emphasize might be back in business again. Jeez, it's been 2 hours and I'm still working on picker. Okay, that is now giving me the first two columns, the first two rows, sorry, which is good. And if I wanted instead the first two columns, that would give them to me and in the right orientation. And that makes me happy. And then if I wanted 1, 2, no, what? Whoa, that's not good. That is not respecting the second one. What's going on? Okay. So much debugging. So first things first, are we ending up in the right branch? We are. Good. Then I want to just return this. Because that's the bit that's obviously going wrong. No, that's returning 1, 2. What? What? So index, my row number is this, my column number is this. That's 1, 2. Oh, that's 1. What? If omitted, but it's not omitted. So why rows array, which is 7, header 1, which is omitted. What? That's not good. So that's giving 1 to 7. Why is that giving 1 to 7? This is not good. 1, 2, 1, 2 should be 1, 2, 1, 2. I am not seeing a difference. Oh, have I got... I've got an extra comma. Stupid. Sorry. All right, so putting the arguments... So yeah, I had tested putting this as the second argument, and then I was going to 2 arguments. Thank you, Thomas. Whew. Okay. And now, if I use the optional argument to force the orientation, so let's see, that's a potential header, that's a potential header. If I force the orientation to match, yes, beautiful. Okay. And now let's try, I don't know, make things a little more complicated. Let's go 1 to 6 in steps of 3. And yeah, I guess that is just 1 and 4, isn't it? Let's get rid of the opposite orientations. So 22 is, yeah, row 4. That's good. And in steps of 2, we do that. So that's row 3, row 5, yes, but not row 6, good. And then let's do this in steps of -1. Sweet. And if I wanted to flip it in one direction, so that is now sorted bottom to top, and I've got these 2 columns in order. That's cool. I mean, I already have a much simpler lambda for flipping, but yeah, go away. Yep, there it is, flipped beautifully. Very simple syntax. Okay. Okay, so now let's try the windy version. So we'll take from this first row. Wait, sorry, too far. From this first row. And that, wait. Taking the first row, but I'm getting, okay, well, I could force the orientation to be different if I wanted. No, it's hard to do this without having the argument numbers over there. Okay, good. And then I don't know if I wanted from 6 to 1, 6 to 3. 3, cool. And then if I flip this to be column, then I get 36, 29. Yes, so I get 6, 5, 4, 3 from here. Okay, so that's the first set of tire kicking. Now the second set is to try the curried version. So if I do that with 1, 3, and I don't know. Well, let's just do it with 1, 3. Ooh, that's not good. That's not good. Hmm, that's not good at all. It must be an orientation misalignment. So hang on, it passes back through here. These are no longer both omitted, so we're not in that branch, we're in this branch. And in this branch, we start off by defining slice, which is enormous. And then we do some calculations. Rows array -1, columns array -1, so it fails that, so it comes down here. So we're indexing array, slice of slice 1, rows of array times columns of array, which is 7. Header 1, there isn't any. Oh, wait, hang on. Sorry, yeah, so this is the size. That's the slice. There's no header, and there's no orientation. That's not good. Don't see why that's not working. Should be exactly equivalent to doing that, but it ain't. Gulp. Okay, so let's come here. Let's try what? Okay, well, keep it simple first. Let's try just returning slice 1. Does that correctly? Okay. So what the fuck? Okay, that gives me a function of 2 arguments that gives me this. The array is already baked in, yes. The headers are already coming from the outer function, so that's fine. What the flip is wrong? I don't know, but I guess the easiest option might be to just not do the elegant recursive call. It makes it more verbose, which I don't love, but it's kind of fine. Trouble is, then I'll have parallel maintenance. Like if I make a change here, I'll need to change it in more places, which makes something more likely to go wrong. Okay, I guess the nearest equivalent way that I can do it, although I don't love it, is... Right, I'm gotta ask myself, am I ready to give up on this? Because I really would rather make it work this way. So taking here, we're taking a column, and we're saying slice that column 1 to 3. Just try a couple of other things. What if I say 1, 3? It doesn't like that either. Okay, what if I say 3, 1? Yeah, no. Okay, what if I say sequence 7? It's like it's only getting the first bit, but I'm passing the whole thing on. There's nothing changing here. Let's just sequence comma 7, and let's try sequence 7, sequence comma 7, false. Oh, what the frick? It's very bad. I don't even see where there's an if branch here that ends in an incomplete. Oh boy. Okay, so we've got this if, which is if this, then that, otherwise this, fine. We've got this if this, then that, otherwise that, which again is complete and is fine. Yes. So what am I doing here? This if has both parts, that's fine. Not that deep in here should even matter, but this if has a true and a false, and this if has a true and a false. I realize this is not very exciting viewing now. That has a true and a false, that has a true and a false, this has a true and a false. Error X match slice against headers. Wait, what? Where is this? Oh, sorry, if regex test slice. Yes, fine. Then we get into the second calculation of this, which is all the rest of the function. And again, there is a logical test and a true and a false. I am so baffled as to what's going wrong here. All right, I don't know. I've spent too long spinning my wheels in it, so it's time to do something different. So let's put it over here. We're going to get rid of this whole piece as far as here. Then we're going to get rid of one closing bracket at the end. And that is now not going to want that, but we can do this. Wait, hang on. Oh, hang on. Did I have something funny with my brackets there? No, I didn't. Okay, sorry, never mind. One more time. We're going to get rid of this here. We're going to get rid of one closing bracket. We're going to take this and put it back here for now, and this there, and that. Oh, right, yeah, because it doesn't even look at this. Oh, that's interesting. Maybe I should tell it to look at that. But anyway, whatever, it doesn't really matter. Lots of slices. There are lots of slices. Too many bloody slices. Do I want to say if omitted slice 1, slice 2? No, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Oh god, did I exit out too soon? No, that's fine. Okay. So now I need to make this even more crazy convoluted. So we're defining slice, be all of this madness. Then this whole thing is going to have to be a lambda. So we're going to say let, I don't know, I'll call it pick no slice args. It's the longest name in the world, but whatever. Will be lambda of slice 1, slice 2, and go on from there through all the rest of this madness. And then we're going to say if is omitted slice 1 times is omitted slice 2, then we're going to say pick no slice args. Otherwise, we're going to say pick no slice args of slice 1 and slice 2. Will that work? I don't know, maybe. Okay, so first let's get rid of this. And I don't know, let's make this sequence 5 starting from 2, and let's make this sequence 3 starting from 3. Okay, so 10, 5 starting from 2, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yes. And we've got 1, 2, 3 starting from 3, yes, that's good. So now if I take these and put them, delete that, close bracket, open bracket, that returns the same thing. Good. At the cost of enormous complexity, but fine. Okay, let's keep going. Still on the first function. I can't believe I'm still on the first function. I thought I was going to do all 3 today. It's ridiculous. Anyway, fine. So, I don't know, let's do 2 to 4. This is good. Let's do 2 to 4 there. This is good. Now, let's do row 3. And for that, we're going to need to provide headers, and the row headers are here, and the column headers are here. Yes, hooray. Then let's do row 3 to row 7. So that's, sorry, my columns are what again? 2 to 4, yes. So that is this area, good. And then if I did row 3 to row 7 in steps of 2, say, 16, 30, 44, yes, this makes me happy. Now let's try cutting this out and putting it here, and it works absolutely the same, which is what it should do. Hooray. So then, oh yeah, so these are now the same size. It's 3 and 3, so I can force the orientation to match, and I should get 16, 31, 46. Let's try that. Yes, hooray. Okay, let's see. Bo had suggested a test, which would be munit. Okay, so let's try munit of 3. I guess let's make it munit of 7 so the headers match. But no, we don't need any headers, so just leave all this stuff out. Sorry, no. Leave this and this out, but leave the 1 in. Then if I say 1, 2, 3 and 1, 2, 3, that gives 1s across. If I say 1, 2, 3 and 1, 2, 3, that gives them down. That's good. If I say that this one should be 1, 3 and this one should be well, everything, for example, that no, that is no, that's not giving me what I wanted. Oh, sorry, because I have orientation on. Yes, fine. Now it's giving me the whole thing. Good. But when I did it like that, it gave me that. Good. If I did this in steps of 2, and if I made this 1, 3, that's good. And if I made this 1, 3, then it collapses that. Okay. Or, yeah, no, that doesn't matter. Okay. I don't want to jinx it, but maybe I have a working picker function. 2 hours and 15 minutes later. It's ridiculous. Okay. So let's go. Actually, sorry, wait. Let's see if. Oh no, it won't. Lambda robot does not want me to save it if it's curried. So let's uncurry. Hopefully without changing the answer. That's fine. And then let's try save lambda as underscore pick. Yes. Hey, Ooh, now this changed. Oh, right, because that's the one that has the recursive call somewhere inside it. Oh, now I understand. The bloody recursive call was fine. It's just that I needed to save the lambda for it to work. Ah! I mean, that is the challenge of when you use a recursive call that relies on the name being in the name manager. You have to remember to save. Sorry, I'm just very shiny here. You can barely see me, so let's put that down. Yeah, you have to save it in between things. Ah! Stupid. Okay, fine. So I didn't need to make this all into one giant lambda, or whatever. Fine. It's going to be in the inner workings of things, and I guess it doesn't matter. Oh my god. So, so. Now we can return to scan by call. And let's edit lambda. I did wonder if the way that I handled by column would be more elegantly done by just transposing the array at the start and then transposing the result at the end. But anyway, I'm not going to do that now. Okay, so I think what I want is for this to be, well, let's say all A is going to be an optional. So then, yes, so here I'm going to have a function. We'll call this, and I want it to apply this function, and the functions that I want to pass to this function are the pickers. So pick, sorry, so I'm going to say if all A, then X, otherwise pick of X. Theoretically, I could offer headers to make the formula easier to read. I don't think I'm going to do that right now. Close that, and then this will be pick of Y. And actually, sorry, the X is getting thunked, so we'll have to unthunk it also. And now I should be able to get rid of all this other nonsense that I made my big crazy substitution to do. So that means one less let. Is this going to work first time? Probably not. Nope. Error in value. Thanks, that's very informative. Oh, sorry. Wait. Yes, because I'm using. So I guess in this case, what I want is to say yes to all A. So hang on. Init array function by call reduce all. So init array function by call reduce and all. Closer, closer. Okay. Oh yeah, sorry, because now this function is v. V and v. All right, well, I really do think we're getting close. Oh, sorry, yeah, pick of y has to be unthunked also. God damn it. Incorrect number of parameters. All right. So, v of 1. And v is a function that. Is this thunk? No, that's okay, I think. Yeah, because I'm later unthunking, that's fine. So, function of. Oh, I wish I would select where I'm going, but anyway. So, that. Wait. That is. Yeah, that's matching up that. Pick y, that. Close the if. Close function, close the thunk. No, close the. So wait, let's close the pick. Sorry, yeah, the if is already closed. Close the function, close the thunk, close the lambda. Not an easy thing to debug. Okay, so let's think. So we're not by column, we're not reduced, so we're saying by row of scan of thunk of the initial value, which is thunk of whatever, 0, 1. So that's our starting point. Then we're going to by row this thunk. So our V is a thunk and our A is a thunk. So if we're taking the whole of A, then we're just going to unthunk. Otherwise, we're going to pick the unthunk. And we're going to pick the unthunked Y. I don't know, that looks right. Right, try doing A of 1, 2, and not using that argument. Does that help? No, ooh, that makes it much worse. What? Oh dear. Okay, let's just take some more basic steps. Let A be thunk of this, B be pick of A that, and I want B of 1. Doesn't work. That's concerning. Incorrect number of parameters. What? Oh, maybe I did not make. So go to pick, edit lambda. So first there's the definition of slice, which is enormous, and then we get to the definition of pick no slice args. Yes, these arguments need to be optional. Both of them? Yes. No? Yes. Yes. I don't know. Whatever. Yes, both of them. And then if they're both, yeah, fine. Okay, now things are happening. I don't know if they're good things. Yes! Yes, they are good things. Okay. Whew. That was complicated. But now look how easy it is to write. All right, so now I want to change this back to just A, which means I have to, not the bicol, not the reduce, but there. Yes! Okay. Save lambda. Okay, so my scan by call just got distinctly easier to work with. I'm not sure I love this floating over here. The other thing is, I would like if what I kind of want is not to have to put a 1 over here, but just to be able to put a open and close parentheses if I want to do all of A. I guess what I could do is just that. Would that work? No, that does not work. Why? Oh, because I'm saying not to make A a function. So let's make A a function. Oh. Ah, bother. Okay, so hang on. If I can remember where the arguments go, so that'd be slice 1, slice 2, header 1, header 2, orientation. You didn't like that. Bother. Oh, right, because those things are supposed to be internal. Ah. So, in other words, if I said pick of x, slice 1, slice 2, header 1, header 2, orientation, you don't like that? Why not? Oh, yeah, because this is crap. That works. So, okay, yeah, no, this is okay actually, because the orientation, the natural orientation of A will be a function of whether we're working by row or by column. So that's actually, maybe this is okay. So if I'm working by column, then A should be a row. So if I'm working by row, so I think this should be 1 minus by column, which should have a capital C and doesn't autocomplete because it is an optional argument. Okay, so save lambda. I don't love this versus just being able to say A, but I can probably get used to it. Maybe there's a way to think through a quality of life improvement. The other option would be to give pick an optional argument that, somewhere, I have no idea what is going on. Lorenzo, that is completely fair. I have only a tentative idea of what's going on at the moment. All right, let me sort of explain. So this is my big roadmap. I want to write picker, which is a generalized version of index and choose rows and choose calls and other things. Oh, that reminds me. Sorry. Now I need to give myself another sticky note because I do want to finish that thought. Shapes. Handle errors better than choose calls X match. I don't know if it already does. It might, but I want it to. Okay, sorry. I was talking. So, first step is to build a picker, which is a generalized version of index, of what I currently do with toCall, of... oh, sorry. Another thing. Header number option. That won't make any sense to you, but it'll make sense to me. Of index, of choose rows, choose calls, take, drop, what I do with TLOOKUP at the moment, a bunch of other stuff. And then to use that to make scan by much easier. So let's just save lambda so you can see this. So the idea is that this function lets you, instead of scanning, a single accumulator and a single array, you can scan, an accumulating array through, each one row at a time through this array. And just write a function like this. So this is saying, take the whole of the previous value. Don't love the syntax, but whatever. So the whole of the previous accumulated thing, and then add the first value from the new row, subtract the second value from the new row, multiply that by the third value from the new row, and then carry on down. So yeah, that's the idea. So let's just quickly do scan by call. Let's say our initial value is, I don't know. Well, actually, yeah, we can just make it the whole same thing, really. But let's say that now I'm going by column. So let's just see, I'm starting with 0 and 1. I'm adding the first value in the column, which is 1, and subtracting 4 times 7. Yep, that is working. And yes, so that what I was worried about was that, yes, now it's naturally followed the orientation. Good. What a perfect time for me to put myself as an organizer instead of a participant. You're both, Klinsman. Never forget that you're both. Definitely both. You knocked out Julian, which is, that's no joke. He's very good. So yeah, you're a big hitter now. Okay. Right, now that reminded me that I wanted headers to be more flexible. I don't only want to provide a list of headers because, let me talk about the way that I use TLOOKUP. Let's actually, I promised, Hayden said, hey, how about some examples? Because I often don't really do any examples on when I'm doing Lambda Lab. I said I will definitely try to do some examples. So here at the 2.5 hour mark, I will introduce the first example. I'm terrible. Anyway, right, so I'm going to MWC Chile. I'm going to grab the docks of Valparaiso because I think that's a good one for some of this stuff. So let's get the English version, open it up. Right. So in this, we have um, a bunch of information about ships, their model ID, the model name, cargo type, size, blah, blah, blah. The deep specifics of the information are not super important. So I want to, oh, sorry, no, not that. Cancel. I want to Alt HT. I was using monkey tools to, you, Harry, are responsible for planting the idea in my head that multi-hour streams are a reasonable thing that people want to see, for better or worse. Anyway, all right. So yeah, I had monkey tools taking over my table creation. Oh, and I see what's gone wrong. Uh, I I don't know when I changed that, but anyway, I must have changed that. That's not good. Now it's back as it should be. Okay, so now I can just say include table filter button. Sure. Yes. Okay, that all looks right. So yeah, monkey tools just makes a kind of nicer default settings. So now if I, oh, but it's defaulting to named range. All right, hang on. I gotta. I guess that's going to be another post-it to myself. Check if I can change Control T default in Monkey Tools, because I'm pretty sure before that was defaulting to making it a table. So probably I've done something wrong in my settings or something. But anyway, I'll ask Ken. Well, first I'll try and figure it out myself, and then I'll ask Ken if I can't, because he's very helpful. Okay, so I have a function that I use a lot called TLOOKUP. Sorry, I need to import my lambdas. And the idea with TLOOKUP is it's just a kind of faster way of doing index match match. So suppose I'm interested in, I don't know, these ships, and I'm interested in knowing about their the capacity unit and about the docking time in hours. Let's bring these together. Then I can say TLOOKUP in this whole table, this and this. And TLOOKUP looks for, like it matches this against the first column. It matches well, the second argument against the top row, and it respect. Oh God, yeah, that'd be interesting. No comment. Yeah, so like what I was showing with picker earlier, it respects the orientation. So because I've given these in opposite orientations, it gives me back a whole blob. But if I gave it, I don't know, whatever I'm interested in, let's just do index. This round array, 10 rows. Where's my formula toolbar? There it is. Between, I don't know, 1 and 30 integer. And then the same thing, but what the, oh, I guess there aren't 30 rows? No, there are only 24. Whoops. Fine, 1 to 24. And then the same thing, but pointing at, I don't know, whatever. Docking time? Oh, no, sorry. Pointing at headers. And this should just be between 1 and 8, I guess. So, in other words, in this situation where I want, you know, for this ship, this property, but for this ship, this property, which comes up in cases, then I can say TLOOKUP in the table. This and this. And that'll give me, oh, right, it won't give me model ID because what it looks up in is actually, you know, drop the first row, drop the first column. So it won't return the thing itself. So whatever, let's just say I'm interested in model name for those because the model ID already is the input. Anyway, so it can work like that or it can work like this. But a limitation of it is that it always looks in the first column for the headers. And so, you know, in this case, at one point in the last level, you wanted to be able to look in the model ID, but most of the time you wanted to be able to look in the model name. And that's fiddlier. So Bo has his equivalent of my TLOOKUP, or approximate equivalent, because we always do things a little bit differently, is IDEX, and his IDEX has an optional thing to say, you know, which column are you looking in. So like he can give an optional argument of 2, and then it does the match for the row on here. So my thought was, I don't just want to be able to give the headers as a separate input, I'd also like to be able to say the headers are in column one. Sorry, are in column one, or they're in column three, or they're in row four, or they're in row seven, or whatever. So, in addition to this, in slice, I want to be able to now. That's interesting because this. What does this mean? I guess this means I will have to pass slice the entire array as well, so that I can get the headers that I want out of it. I suppose that's okay. I also had a slightly wackier idea, but now that I'm 2.5 hours in and still have not got most of the stuff I wanted to get done, I'm not going to do it today. But I had a wacky idea that optional values for headers could either be like, here's a list of, you know, the labels for that thing, or it could be, 2, in which case you would index the bigger array, on 0 row 2, or it could be something like 1, 2, in which case you would index t, you'd have to do sequence 24 and this, and then something like by row array to text. So that in situations like, don't want to interrupt the flow, you're not afraid the level of abstraction. I am very afraid that the level of abstraction could backfire. I will say I will probably not, I'm not going to say definitely not because Harry is watching, I will probably not use any of these functions tomorrow. Or if I do, I'll be ready to bail out if it looks like things are going wrong. Yep, 2.5 hours and counting, Giles, and counting. Yeah, I will probably not use any of these tomorrow, and I would not use them until I have tested them significantly. But if I can get the function writer working, which again, fool that I am, I thought I might be working on that today. I haven't even come close. But if I can get the function writer working, and that feeds into scan by call, then the calls to picker within scan by call would always be in a pretty standard way, which would make me worry less about edge cases. But yes, it's a 100% fair question. This level of abstraction is risky. It will require quite a lot of testing, more testing than I plan to make you all watch me do. But I also think it unlocks approaches that I have kind of had in mind and kind of wanted to do for a long time, but that have just been too hard to do for one reason or another. So like I have this robot command that is, I can't even remember the shortcut, which shows you how often I use it, but it's something like insert as recursive pattern. Yeah. So I have like recursive pattern without stacking as a reduce equivalent and recursive pattern with stack as a scan equivalent. And that inserts this whole pattern that I can then do some stuff with because Harry wrote like a while function a while ago. And part of what I didn't like about that, what I liked about it was that it abstracted away some of the challenges of writing a recursive function. What I didn't like about it was that your stopping condition had to be a lambda. So in other words, if I'm whatever, like let's say we go back to the Warcraft thing where I've got XP and gold and stat and some other stuff, and I've got a bunch of different missions here that do different things to change those things. Then it's very easy for me to say whatever, I don't know, stop can be, I want to stop when gold gets to 90, so I can say gold greater than or equal to 90. Whereas if I have to say something like my stopping condition as a function of the ending row is lambda row, index row 2 is greater than or equal to 90, that just feels much less intuitive to me. And so I've done some recursion in competition, but I've done it in what feels like the hard way. and I feel like there is a path. So like right now, scan by call is is like scan. It just goes a fixed number of steps. But part of what I want to build out in it is that with the same setup, it should be able to do recursive work. So that's part of where I'm building to with this, and that's stuff that's just hard to get to at the moment. So very long answer to a simple question. The answer is yes, tons of risk, but also upside that I think is otherwise not achievable. Eric adds the point, and it's a good one. It's a real danger if it's not something you use regularly. This seems like something that will be a staple in the future. The picker in particular, I think that if this works as I want it to, I will just get in the habit of not using index or choose rows or choose calls or blah 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 at all anymore, and I'll just use picker. Um, and so yeah, then I'll kind of use that all the time. Scan by call is a little nichier. The people demand risk and danger. Tell you what, Harry, if it seems like things are going too well, then I'll, like the hare taking a snooze, like I'm so far ahead, I'm obviously going to win. Then I'll try and crack out scan by call and find any excuse to use it. With that, is that fair? um, anyway, all right, I've gone down a sideline enough. All right, so this one I'm not going to do yet. My main concern with this one is that I suppose I'm going to have to figure out an orientation anyway. All right, let's take a step back. My concern with this was that I'd have to figure out, am I doing by row or by call according to the orientation, and Slice doesn't know the orientation. But I guess Slice is going to have to figure out the orientation to figure out whether it's taking a column or a row. So, yeah, this only applies in the 2D case, because you would never want, like if there was a 1D and it was just like this thing, this is the lookup values and this is also the header, then you would just you'd just get back the values you put in. So that wouldn't make any sense. You wouldn't need a header in that case. So the only situation where you would need to use headers is where it's where you'd need to use a number for headers, I should say, is where it's 2D. So if I restrict myself to it must be a 2D case, what can I then say about? And I think I'm just going to stop at this point. Once I've done these last changes to pick, that's probably going to bring me to like 3 hours. I think that's more than anybody wanted of this anyway, so I'm going to stop there. But okay, so Slice then has Slice max dim. So I guess instead of giving it max dim, I could give it the array and optionally the orientation. And then you could calculate the maximum you could calculate the maximum dimension. That would be easy. And then it would be okay. Okay. So let's just take this piece out and work on that. So slice of, let's just start with the simple one. Give me everything, and max dim is 26. Okay, so now I am not going to give it max dim, I'm going to give it an array, and then wait, what? Oh yeah, okay. Fine. So come here, let's say max dim. So I guess I need to optionally give it an orientation. So it's I guess my default will be that I'm slicing a column. So then row. That's a terrible name for a variable. Row. At least that's not a function name. That's a terrible name too because it's not expressive enough. So orientation. Okay, so then max dim will be um, so if it's one-dimensional, then I want the row times column. If it's two-dimensional, then I want the number of rows, or if orientation is triggered, then the number of columns. Complicated. Okay, so we'll say if rows of R minus 1 times columns of R minus 1. This is my test for, is it one-dimensional? If at least one of those is 1, then it's one-dimensional. Then I can say rows of R times columns of R. In other words, one of these will be 1 and the other will be the max dimension. Otherwise, I want to say if orientation, I kind of want this name to express what the default is. So let's call it orient row. And so implicitly, therefore, the default will be orient column. So if orient row, what does this even mean? So by default, I'm going down here, so it's the number of columns. If orient row, then I'm going across there, so it's the number of, it's the number of rows. This is the number of columns. The odds of me getting this right first time feel slim. Anyway, so close that if, comma. Okay, so now I've got my max dim. Then I want to do something with my headers. Am I going to go for the more ambitious version or the less ambitious version? Let's start with the less ambitious version. So I'm going to say if count A headers equals 1, so I only have one header, then I want to index the array, and this is where I really need to be careful. So if I'm orienting by row, that means I'm going across the columns. The max dimension is this, which means that it's going to be a row number. So if orient row, then headers, otherwise 0, and the other one is going to be the opposite. So if orient row, then 0, otherwise headers. That's the end of that if, it's the end of that if, and this needs a name, which is, oh yeah, it's going to be my redefining of headers. And I think both of these need to come outside this let, because this is just going, if we're going down one branch, but I also want this to apply if we're going down the other branch. So let's, I guess I need an outer let in that case. Let max dim be this, and headers be this, and then we do that a whole if, and then we do a closing bracket. That work? I don't know. Let's see. So now I don't want to give it that. I want to give it a sequence of, let's say, 7. Name. Ah, crap. Thomas says, my picker is the only custom Lambda I have that has its own separate tab just with unit tests. It has more than 20 separate scenarios, so having this tab helps make sure it works after adjustments. I recommend it. That is a very smart recommendation. Okay, Come on, come on. I really want to wrap this up within 3 hours. That shouldn't be too ambitious. Oh, God. Okay. So, oh yeah, sorry, I got a name error. So what's going on here? I've done something wrong. Max dim, yes. R. Orient row, yes. R. Headers, yes. What? But hang on. Oh, wait, sorry, yes. So this is the value of true, but the value of false should be headers. That's important. Don't know if that'll fix it. No, I still have a name error. Why do I have a name error? Again, I really wish it would tell you that. What name is invalid? It's not a big ask, is it? Okay. R. You're a funny man, Harry. A funny, funny man. So hang on, let's just call this out for a second, and then we can do some simpler testing. So let's return max dim. That one's naming out. Okay, really? Really? The only things I'm referring to here are R and orient row. Rows, columns, rows. Oh, for God's sake. It's because I can't spell column. Okay, there we go. That's fine. See if I care. Wait, sorry, that's max dim. Yes, good. Then headers is returning the whole thing. That's not good. Okay. So let's just call this headers X for a second. And return headers. Headers returning 0. And if I say count A headers, that gives me 1. Okay, so then I need to say it is a count of 1 and it is not omitted. 1 minus is omitted. Headers. Actually, wait. We can do better than this. Too complicated. Well, yeah, no. Oh God, what am I trying to do here? So I want to say if is omitted headers, then headers. Otherwise, a bunch of stuff. Then otherwise, if the count is equal to 1, then index blah 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 blah. And now my question is, will that now correctly return if I say headers X is omitted? I think my test earlier would suggest yes, that is saying true. That's good. So now I can just change that to headers. I don't want is omitted anymore. Just want headers. That gives me 0. Happy. So then, sorry, the sequence of arguments. Yeah, third argument is headers. So I want the first argument to be the headers. And there it is. Beautiful. And now I'm thinking about the more ambitious version. No, stop it. Get one bloody thing to work, and we'll go from there. Okay. So, all right. So that is the headers, and if we skip in row and do orient row, then the headers becomes hopefully the top row. Yes. Okay. So, oh God, I don't even technically want to save that, do I? I want to take pick, edit lambda, and I want to put this entire hot mess inside that. Oh wait, except I don't want to output headers, I want to output out. Whew, that would have taken 100 years to debug if I had made that mistake. So now slice is this, but now I also have to use slice correctly. So instead of, so my arguments are now slice array, headers in row, orient row. So yeah, in this case, I don't care. I just need to give it array. And I don't need to say anything about the orientation. In this case, I give it array. I give it array. And now, do I need to say something about the orientation here? Yes. And what I'm saying is headers. Oh my God, my head is spinning. Okay. So the headers. If we're orienting as a row, then taking a row number. I feel like I've got this backwards. God, this is a nightmare. If we're orienting as a row, then we're counting the columns. Okay, fine. Then I think that works. So then the one that I want to orient as a row is this one, I think. Very nervous about this, but okay, let's just take this whole thing, bring it over here. Sorry, not that, but this. That'll bring yes to all. Okay, so now let's try it, he said nervously. Actually, now that I'm over here, I'll save lambda as. I'll call it pick. I just don't want to overwrite my existing one until I've tested this. Okay, so now pick of an array. And let's say that my slice one is, I don't know, supermax and panamax bulk. And my slice 2 is, I don't know, I want the last 3 columns. So that would be -3 colon, I think. And then my header 1 is going to be the second column. Will that work? No. Shit. Bother. Okay. So let's see what's going wrong. So first things first, let's confirm that we are in this branch of the universe where we should be. Yes, we are. Good. So then let's take some pieces of, let's copy the whole thing just so that I'm not screwing around with the original, and then let's take some pieces of this and break them down. So first, give me the first slice. That gives 4, 5. Which seems to be worked. Okay, that's supposed to be the hard part, for crying out loud. Okay, then let's take the second part, which is this. I bet it's that one at the end that I've stuffed up somehow, but anyway, let's try. Why am I? Whatever. Here. Ooh, 173, 174, 175. Ah. Somewhere, I bet, taking rows of t times columns of t. No, that's 168. How the frick is it getting? Okay. Okay, so we work out the maximum blah, 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 blah. We work out the headers. That's not the problem. All right, so let's just have it do this bit by bit, I guess. Instead of result, let's do nums. 0 to 10. What? I'm confused. Okay. Let's do split, I guess. -3, good. Then, oh, sorry. It's num, not num, so I don't know where the heck nums is coming from, but whatever. So we do underscore num. That's 173, 175. That's not good. So where is that coming from? If error number from header, yes. Take split, blah, 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 blah. Steps less than 0, yes. Steps less than 0, that, like that. Just take that, two, take that, two, take that. Okay, num from header. That here. Okay, num from header is erroring out, to be expected. So then we get into this branch. Which gives 173, 175. Why? No idea. God, it's hard to navigate this formula. It's enormous. I think we're here. So let's... God, it won't give me the thing to pick that section. That's terrible. I think it's down as far as there. False true, fine. So then, okay, I guess I want to tell me, what do you think max dim is? Because that must be where it's going wrong somehow. Can't quite figure out how, but it must be. Yes, I think max dim is 175. Why? Is it possibly because I have this the wrong way around? I believe it may be. Oh, God. Okay, so if these are both greater than 1, that is your 2D situation. Yes, I have these arguments swapped around because I am a clown. Okay. Cut that. Ugh, so stupid. So wait, sorry. This is my logical test. This is my value of true. Okay, so then here. All right, well, I failed to get it done within the 3 hours, so that's not ideal, but never mind. Okay, so I think I should just be able to take this and put it back up into this one. Here, I hope. No, go away, go away, go away, go away. Must be missing a closing bracket. What is that? Does not look like it's missing a closing bracket to me. So that matches to that. Yeah, what error did it say? There's a problem with this formula. Helpful, very instructive. Okay. Just try doing it directly in here then, I guess. So cut that, paste it there, cut that all the way up to the bracket, paste it there. Hey, something worked. All right, so what was I trying to get? I don't even remember. Okay, save lambda. Such a complicated mess. Anyway. Okay, so I wanted the last 3 columns for Supermax and Panamax bulk, which is capacity, unit capacity, and docking time, and that should be tons, 35,000, 2.5, 60,000, 3. Hey, it worked! Oh my god. Okay. Okay. So now I'm going to just write equals pick. Bring that back over here. Yes, replace pick. Good. Okay. I guess Should we see if we can do a little bit of this case now? I don't really want to try to do it all, but let's try and do some. All right, so this cargo type and quantity. What is the question? Oh, right. So, that's not really that's like a Maxif kind of situation, so that's not good for here. Medium birth. All right, well, this one I guess you can at least name this B for birth. And you could figure out, oh, no, you also need to make this a table. Table, call it C, okay. So, sorry, then we can pick, the array is C. Do I need headers? I'm not sure I do. Oh, but it does come with an underscore, okay, fine. So my slice is this, and my header is column 1. Is that gonna work? Kind of. Yep, I need to say what I want. So I guess 2, liquid bulk. Is that what I want? Yes, I think I want liquid bulk. Okay, so then I can pick B, and my slice is this, and my slice is thingy thing is medium. Now here I'm tempted to say if omitted I wanted to treat it as 1, but that gives me the 4,000, that's good, and then this divided by this, and I guess we need to round up or something, I don't know. Do we round to the nearest integer? Fine. Oh yeah, this one doesn't show you if you're getting it right or not. So whatever, level 2. I assume that's right. Yes, it is. All right, but now let's go to one of the hairier ones where we can throw in a little scan by call fun into the mix. Oh yeah, actually, maybe this one we could do some fun stuff with. No, actually, because the best way to do this is going to be wrap and well, yeah, it's still a scan by call. Okay, so first I want to figure out for a given ship what time it takes, and so what we've got a large berth, 4 ships, corresponding cargo type. Okay, so then I want to pick from berth by the cargo type, which is going to be pick from T by this ship type, and this thing is going to be called, what the heck do I want? Cargo type? I don't know, let's go look at the column number. That is 3. And my header is going to be 1. Sorry, that should then give me the first argument, and then the second argument is going to be large. No, you didn't like that. All right, let's pull this bit out for a second. You didn't like that. Okay, what's going wrong? Oh, sorry. Yes, because my header is not the first column, it's the second column. There we go. I still don't like that. That's interesting. Okay. Breaths, large, liquid bulk. Looks like it should be fine. Oh, sorry. Yeah. So this is where I need to say header. Okay. So that's the load rate. Okay, and then I need to pick the ship. So pick from T by this ship, where I want my header to be the second column, and I want my capacity, which is column F, or I could just say capacity, I suppose. Capacity, and then divide by that. You didn't like that either. Oh yeah, because for that I need header there. No, you still don't like that. What? Okay, well, needs work. Eric says, I'm told it'll take 3 to 5 weeks to add a debugger to my form. Oh my god, I'm so tired after this week. I'm doing no more prep after 30 minutes from now. Okay, well, I hear you. I will make this video 30 minutes longer to soak up your capacity. Okay, what's going wrong here? Capacity and that, first question would be how I spell capacity exactly like it is there. I have Okay, let's replace capacity with a 6 and see if that makes it happier. 6. That totally works. Okay. Oh, I know why. I know why. I know why. It's because, yeah. So now I should be able to say capacity. This is, by the way, I have on my list of things to do before Vegas is a new table setup command, which is going to be like turn this area that I'm in into a table and name it some single letter that you will ask me for, and then name the table including the headers that single letter followed by A, and then name the table headers that single letter followed by H, and other just basic setup, and maybe table lookup lambdas, because I'm interested in those. Although I'm gonna, I think, put my own twist on them in a little bit, or maybe I'll just decide the picker is enough. But anyway, okay, fine. So yeah, here I just need to do hash all. Okay, that gives 90. Is that supposed to be the load time? No. Oh, right, because we also need a docking time. So plus pick from T, M170. It's like docking time in hours, but I think that's the last column. Header 2. 96.25. Beautiful. Okay. So then, now I want to replace all references to M70 with V10. Sorry, V1. V1 and V1. And this is what I want the kind of function generator to do for me later, but for now I'll do it myself. So then that's my formula. Sorry, then I want the max of the previous time, which is A, and the arrival time here, which is V2, and sorry, max of those two plus that. That is my function. So now I want to wrap rows of this in 2s, and then I want to scan by call. My initial value is 0. That's that, and then lambda A V, boom, and I guess because of the way I've written that, oh, hang on, where's my all A? This looks like it does not have the new version of thingy thing. You could dynamically generate lambdas specific to the name tables and maps and the types of their columns. Yes, that is, so there's a robot command called generate table lookup lambdas that is sort of like that. All right, I'm going to get distracted if I don't finish this, so let's finish this first. So let's just say this is A of 1 is fine. That's the function, and will that just do it? No. Oh dear, you didn't like that. So my C# generated code defines classes for the rows. I will have to take a closer look at that, but not before tomorrow. Okay, thought I had this working. No, we're going by row. That's the right way around. No, that's disappointing. But my only thought is, let's save. So wait, hang on. Where is this scan by call in here does have an all A. Okay, so that suggests that. Oh, right. That's because I'm in book 2. For some reason, I thought I was doing all this work in my Lambda file, but apparently I'm not. Okay, so is my Lambda file open? No, so I'll have to reopen read write. Okay, so at to get my collections. Hello, at. There we go. Reopen read write. It would help if I made the changes in the file that I actually want them to end up in, wouldn't it? Anyway, scan by row. Anyway, whatever. I don't know. I haven't done any of that stuff, but yeah. Okay, so I want new scan by call. Wait, hang on. Do I have? I brought everything in here. That's not ideal because it makes it harder to track what's changed. All right. Well, for now, scan by call and pick. why did, oh, never mind, I don't care. So copy these, put them here, replace scan by call, yes. If omitted, no. Rename, no, fine, whatever, it's the same thing. Okay, so then we can delete those. And now if I come over to Valparaiso again, or that is here, and I import my lambdas, component is referenced in 0 command collections. Gulp. All right, never mind. I'll figure that out later. It's probably because of having opened it and screwed around with it right now. Let's just go back to the file that has them here. Bring that to Valparaiso, which is here. Yes to all, yes to all. Still not happy. Let's just, okay, first thing, I can hopefully get rid of that, and, no, what? Didn't bring the right one. What's going on? This scan by call at lambda has an optional argument, all A. Okay, cancel lambda edit. Copy. Paste. I wish to replace it. Yes, please. Edit lambda. What the frick? Whatever. I don't know what's going on here. This is not a robot problem. This is like a regular copying formulas. It says to replace it, but then it doesn't replace it. I don't know what's going on. Also getting very ready to be done. So I'm just going to take all of that, bring it over here, go to scan by, drop it in there, close. Now what? Oh, see the equals. Go to scan by again, put in the equal sign, close. Okay, we've upgraded to a calc error. Cell formula result is a function. That's not good. Oh, right, sorry. Yes, this, no. Okay, try changing it to all A and get rid of this. Not that that should change any bloody thing. No, but it does. Okay. That's interesting. So if that's not there, then why does this not work? It does now. Wait, what? What? Okay, never mind. Okay, fine. Anyway, so now we change that to a reduce, and we have the answer, and we need to round to the nearest integer. Okay. Put that there. And get those right? Hope so. Yes. All right. So not sure that gave any positive impression of anything because it spent so long debugging, but I guess let's go back for a second to where we just had this. So the thing for me that is interesting about this is that from this function that just works out the docking and loading time for one ship, now that I have things working, I think the transition time to a scan by call should be very quick. So in other words, now you would just say max of A and V2. In other words, you know, we're calculating the time the ship will be finished. So we're going to start either when the previous ship finished or when we arrive, if that's later, and then we're going to add the total time that this takes, and then we're going to replace all references to M, that thing, with V1, and with V1. That's our function then, and then we just want to scan by call of 0, wrap rows of this into, and then our function is going to be lambda A, B, all that mad stuff, close the lambda, reduce, and all A. And there it is. So I think that in principle, once this is working better and practiced a little bit, it will be very powerful. And like the the transition of like going from this to, or I guess the more realistic transition would be if I laid it out as whatever. Let's change this to not be a reduce, and not round, I suppose, or whatever, round to 7 will be fine. So the more realistic way to lay this out would be to say, if I have 29.75 as what's above, and these two as what's next to it, then the full function would be, the max of the previous finishing time and this ship's arrival time plus that. And so the function writer is the thing that is going to kind of basically point at all of this stuff and turn that all into lambda AV blah 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 blah. And then it'll be great. Are you also trying to win the longest private stream round for this battle? I do like that. Yeah, I guess I mean, it would not be accurate to describe this as a prep stream for tomorrow. I think I am, if anything, making myself less ready for tomorrow the more time that I spend doing this. um, but yes, this is longer than either of your streams this week, so na. But I'm still, I don't know, like 4 hours short of your record. So yeah. Anyway, compiler lambda function. Exactly. Well, it's, just hey, Copilot, write a lambda that takes this and turns into that. All right. That at a short 3 hours and 20 minutes. No, I'm not going to keep going. Encouraging bad habits. Yeah, no, that is not anything nearly as general as a compiler, and not anything nearly as general as what robot does, but the equivalent of lambdify that will take, like where I'm going with this is basically that you would have whatever, in this case it's whatever finish time, this is ship, this is arrival time. The idea is that much like with lambdify, you point at, these are my names, these are my ranges. The same thing here would be, these are my A names, these are my A previous values, these are my A current values, these are my V names, these are my V values. And in principle, potentially there might also be another section over here, which is workings, where you could spill things out that would be dynamic. Because I think for this to work the way I imagine it, every part of A would have to be a single cell thing rather than spilling like lambdify can allow. But you could do workings over here that don't get folded back in. Anyway, enough. Eric, I'm glad that this has been good background listening, and Sahil, thank you. Good to hear that. All right, I am going to leave it at that. Well, I had many thoughts about what this stream might involve, and many of them have not materialized. But okay, I've done the header number. Oh yeah, I didn't come back to this. Handling errors better than choose. Okay, I do want to check that quickly. Let's check that quickly. So over here, I said I was done, and I'm not done. Okay, so let's redo this as a picker. So we're going to pick on T. I guess we'll make it T all. This is slice 1, this is slice 2. Header 1 is that, and header 2 is that. No, you don't like that. What? Come on. Oh, sorry. Yeah, because this one is column 1, the codes. But let's go grab some ships instead, I guess. It's your best run so far on this streaming record. Stop. Thanks, Harry. That's inspiring. Okay, so that's that. What the hell did I say I wanted to do? Oh yeah, I want to know what will happen if this is an error. Yes, beautiful. So the thing that I was trying to improve on is, so start with the first situation, which is XLOOKUP. XLOOKUP, if I want to XLOOKUP, I don't know, these three things in this, returning from this, it is happy to do that. There's your range. If I want to look up this one thing in model number returning from a bunch of stuff, it is happy to do that. But if I want to look up a few things returning a few columns, it is not happy to do that. I did say I was done. I'm going to step away from the Lambda momentarily. Less than 5 minutes. I will be done before 3.5 hours. So the way to work around that is to say choose rows from here by xmatch whatever you want. Let's say these against this. Missing an opening or closing. Yeah, another closing bracket should do the trick. And then you get that. But let's say that now I'm interested in some other subset of ships, which is here. So I'll point that to here. The problem with this is that if any of these is an error, choose rows just vomits all over everything. But because this is based on index and not based on choose rows, this will just give a straight error out on the one thing. So, in other words, if I wanted to say pick from T, let's just do T of this on header 2, yeah, it'll give me that, and it'll just give me errors only in the row that has an error. Now that took less than 5 minutes to explain, and I'm glad I checked. Although the answer is I don't need to do anything. I was thinking I might have to make some adjustments to make it do that, but I don't. Okay, so that's done and that's done. I do need to figure out what's going on with Monkey Tools because I'd like to fix that. And that's it. I really am stopping now. Thank you for people who came and watched, and especially to Bo and Thomas, and I think at one point Harry, who helped to dig me out of various holes I'd managed to dig myself into. The function maker is going to have to be deferred again. I have been planning this like the reduce equivalent of Lambdafy for more than a year, and I still haven't gotten around to writing it. And I really thought today was going to happen. And if you had told me that I was going to be on stream for 3.5 hours and it still wasn't going to happen, I wouldn't have believed you. But here I am. I am not going to answer that question, Harry. No more. This is the end of the stream. Thank you for watching. Goodbye. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god.